little bit of dad advice. Times are crazy. But you know what? It's always nice to be nice to people. Why don't you go ahead and be nice to your neighbor? Hey, John.
Hey.
That's a nice hat, man.
Thanks.
John feels great.
Folks need heroes, Chief. Give them hope. So smile, would you? Well, we still got something to smile about.
Whatever your original intentions, you have become truly lost. Just a man lost in the scramble for his own gratification, he can be destroyed. If you make yourself more than just a man, if you devote yourself to an ideal, then you become something else entirely.
Good evening, everyone, on a Friday night. We are now live. Thank you all for being here. But before we get going, I do need to say that this was not my fault. This is actually Trench Grenade's fault for asking me to host this live between a nice panel of gentlemen discussing the happenings in the gun industry. I think later we will be joined by Hop and Brassfax as well, but they are getting back from their gay range day together, but they should be able to hop on shortly after they're done. But Trench, so why don't you go ahead and start why you wanted to have all of us joined here together today?
Right. Okay. So what's up, guys? So this whole thing began, I guess, in the inception of your live stream. I guess what would it be? 2 days ago now? 2 days ago. Okay. So I was driving to work. I'm still on active duty dude. So I was driving to work, about to be slaving away. And then I see this Garanthem, The Fall, right? And no, this whole topic tonight will not be just around the happenings of Garanthem, but it will be kind of the cornerstone that started this whole conversation. So just previous to that, I was texting Matt, X-Ray Alpha here, about the some other BS unrelated to the actual Garanthem thing with Goober's group and some other stuff that's been coming out. And I thought, okay, let's get some relatively based, self-proclaimed based people together and talk about what is the current status of content creation in the gun space, against training space, gun space. What do you guys look for in your own realm, and like what has led to you to create what you do create, and what I guess are you looking for in the space, if that makes any sense at all?
Yeah, I think so. So what's your background with the Goobers group stuff? Because I don't think I followed that.
My background? Okay. So just because most of your viewers probably don't know who I am. I am a senior NCO, been in the Army, the infantry specifically, for about 12 years. Currently serving as a drill sergeant leader. That just simply means I was a drill sergeant for a little bit, okay, about a year, and now I train future drill sergeants to be drill sergeants. They go through like basic training again, right? So a lot of infantry time and a little bit of drill sergeant time, a couple years of that. So when I see incompetence and I see people buying into like, hey, yes, it was cool that you were a Navy SEAL in 2006. SEAL Team 6 is kind of the joke I made. Thanks for your service, man. I'm sure you put a lot of canoes and a lot of foreheads. But what people need on the internet, the 45-year-old dad, father of 3, doesn't need your advice on a hydro mount. He needs to go dry fire and actually attend a course and go to the gym probably, some basic stuff. So that kind of is the motivation when I see a lot of the same stuff that you guys are probably seeing in the space is like, right. Maybe the dudes are coming from a good place, right? Where they're shilling for their own product, or if maybe a product they don't agree in particularly. But what I'm seeing overwhelmingly is these channels, they're getting paid to say, hey, the Springfield Prodigy is a good product, right? We'll just name that. It's not. We all know it's not. People that actually shoot, right? Ben knows it's not. We all know it's not a good product. Guys that do this for a living, we have kind of the spectrum, because we're all on the spectrum of the 4 corners of your screen of viewership of different experiences and walks of life, right? So we all have a little different piece of the pie. And what I can tell you is there's objective truths, right? objective truths about gun content or training. And when something is objectively wrong, like we'll just use another example, saying that precision does not matter when you're inside a structure with another human being that you're trying to kill, that is not accurate. That is when precision does matter, so I don't shoot my teammate, right? So these are the reasons why on my channel, when I see BS, I just say, I got no dog in this fight other than to tell my viewers avoid this or avoid that person.
Gotcha. And Ben and Matt, this is your two's first time on the channel. Could you guys just give a little rundown about yourselves? I'm sure most people here already know what your guys' deal is.
Yeah, well, I'm Ben Stoeger. I was a competitive shooter for a long time. I think I will be again soon. I do teaching, so I write books. I teach people how to shoot, predominantly handguns. I spend a lot of time doing that, and I travel around doing it. Both like civilian stuff, military stuff, law enforcement stuff. I kind of hoe around. I do all of it.
All right,
Matt.
Yeah, and I'm a Matt Pranka in a company called Extra Alpha, and I also teach competitive, performance-based shooting to law enforcement, military. I was in the military, and now I'm out doing the teaching thing.
Sick. And then Hop and Brass Facts just went up.
We're in a fucking camper. Let us know if it does end up echoing or something like that, because we're on speaker. But.
No, it's actually not bad. It's actually doing a good job. So, so I guess we're just discussing the YouTube space in general. Obviously, set off by this last couple weeks of drama surrounding some of the biggest influencers out there. I'm sure everybody already knows Brass and Hop. They've been on the channel before. But do you guys have anything specific? Or were you guys listening to Trench go off on his monologue there?
We got the tail end of it, of like, trying to call out bad information. Apparently someone needs the whiskey, so we just got robbed. But calling out bad information. The Prodigy was a good example, considering mine had 27 different issues, and I finally gave up and sent it back. Very unsafe issues, like the gun was legitimately unsafe. When the safety was on, the gun could be shot. When the safety was off, the gun could not be shot. So lots of fun things there. And I finally fixed everything with $120 safeties, because of fucking course everything cost $1 million when 2011s are involved. The gun just didn't work, so that was cool. I love great life choices there.
The one I got didn't work very well until you threw
I
it
didn't
in
watch
it off.
I didn't watch any videos on the Prodigy. Is that just like a known bad gun at this point?
Well, all the reviewers that wanted to, let's just say maybe shill it, or I don't know, just review the product. They couldn't get enough. I'm guessing a lot of them just couldn't get enough footage to do the video because the gun wouldn't fucking work. So it's hard to, I don't know. You could speak on it a little bit.
He almost just pulled a focus strip and spilled a Yoo-hoo all over the place.
Oh, that's amazing.
This is going really well. Turns out it's hard to podcast from inside a van.
We are in actually a full-blown, what is this, a ProMaster 2500?
1500.
You guys are out.
That's a rape van you got?
What was that?
It's a rape van.
Oh, yeah. Or
not necessarily.
Nice.
I mean, it depends on what the target demographic of the day is, right? Sometimes it's a candy van, sometimes it's a rape van, sometimes it's a technical to burn it the fuck down. It depends on the day, right?
Oh boy.
All right, so Trench. So, what are some of the bad influences that you're getting at, and some of the bad info that you want to talk about?
Okay. I mean, you want to talk tactics, gun, or just overall message?
I'm not a tactics guy. I'm a retard with a camera, so I just talk about products. That's my thing. So,
Okay.
But whatever you want to go for, because I mean that's obviously more like you and Matt and maybe Ben's area of expertise than mine.
Right. So let's talk. I'll talk about two specifically that have really been just blowing up on my channel. Okay. So there's Johnny Q. Johnny Q is some dude, allegedly. We'll just leave that out there right now. He was a cop for anywhere from 6 months to a year, and he makes gun content. That's a loose term. You've had a whole podcast, so I'm not going to beat that one too much. But yeah, Johnny Q is a perfect example of somebody in the space that is making gun slop, right? Just all the trash. It's out there. He has, 1 million or some crazy amount of subscribers, and these people are watching it. It's like, okay, probably given the whole area, the whole, I guess, community, if you want to use that term, a bad impression. But more specifically, GBRS, Goober's Group, right? So everyone's heard the rumors of them firing their own employees, saying their own employee was stealing stuff. If you haven't heard that, definitely look into that. But more specifically, they lean very heavily on their combat experience, and I think they go too far. Now, Matt might have some thoughts and opinions on this, but from my experiences in the Army, okay, specifically in the infantry, if you lean too much on just combat experience, but not actual training, those dudes typically get out as a specialist E4, sergeant E5. They do 1 or 2 rotations, and then they get out because they didn't do the actual train ups and the badge schools and all the things that they had to do. So it's kind of a balancing act of operational, having a lot of operational time and having the actual schools and training. And Matt, if you want to jump in on that at all, you can. But I think what we're lacking a lot is these guys were super freaking relevant when they were shooting people in the face at 2 a.m. In Afghanistan. And that's awesome. And no one's going to ever take anything like that away from them. But I think where we lose the message is, like I kind of said earlier, when you have the average dude that you know is not going to shoot more than 1,000 rounds a year, and now they just dropped $500 on a Hydra mount, it's like, okay, we need to rewind it, and we need to focus on the basics, because we still got dudes out here talking about 100-yard zeros, and people we're not even at the starting line with a lot of the current audience, and people, they're starting in the wrong area. And yeah, you're going to have a small percentage, maybe 5%, that are actually setting up their gear appropriately and training and dry firing and attending courses and doing USPSA or SEAL Challenge matches, right? And that's awesome. But the vast majority of people that are consuming probably this video right now, not to attack anybody, they're not actually getting active with their stuff. They're not going out and breaking it, right? If you watch a Brass Facts video, you might fall asleep because you've seen 2,000 rounds fired, but at least Brass Facts and Hop are actually using the stuff, right? So you guys can jump in on any of that.
First off, I would never fall asleep during a Brass Facts video. That's not possible. Now, Matt and Ben,
you
you guys
never wake up is the thing.
Yeah, look,
training.
Well, are you upset that like people consume like garbage content? Like, because I think that's always going to be a thing, right?
Not necessarily.
There's always going to be garbage to watch. And
Right.
I mean, honestly, most people prefer to watch the garbage.
That's the problem. So I think it's cool to go watch a bad Avengers movie or whatever you're going to watch, right? But when you're using it as like your personality, and a lot of guys, M81, Woodland in the chat or whatever, right? People make multicam black their whole personality, but it's useless other than for the drip, right? So what happens is people will go and they'll be like, okay, and it happens in my comment section all the time, even though I have a small channel. Hey, clearly GBRS fanboy talking about, oh, they've killed more and done more. And I'm like, dude, no one's saying they haven't done that. What I'm saying is things change over time. Tactics and evolution changes over, things evolve.
So the thing is, if your whole marketing strategy is that you've killed more people or whatever, you did more things in the GWAT, like, you have nothing to offer. Like, that's over. Like, what do you have now that you can bring to the table, right? And this has always been the discussion for me with this environment, is like, give a fuck about what you used to do. I don't care about your pedigree, right? I don't care about it. It's irrelevant in the discussion when we talk about training and shooting. What can you do today? And the problem with most of these guys, right? GBRS is the prime suspect, but insert any Navy SEAL name, any former SF name, the guys that lean on their pedigree, like, you cannot deliver the goods when it counts. Like, show me what actual performance looks like, right? And you can't do it. You're making a name and a marketing strategy and money off of a thing that we all agreed we would never talk about. All these units sign the same shit we signed, but you you showed up and then you retired or got kicked out, whatever. Like if you dive into the backgrounds, half the dudes were fucking launched, right? They did not retire honorably. They medically retired. They got out because of get fired or medically retired or whatever.
Release
But
for
then
standards.
What's that?
A lot of release for standards. So dude makes, say Ranger Battalion, right? Dude makes Ranger Battalion his whole life and then gets released for standards because you can't shoot or you can't run X time, right? And then he gets released for standards. But being a Ranger is
I will tell you, like at that tier 1 level, there's no release for standards, right? There's no blue book, there's no anything. So it's more of like failure to perform. Like there's no clear cut thing like, hey, what it was. You were fired as a team leader and now you gotta go. You gotta get the fuck out, right? Or you did too many things that draw attention to the unit. Now you gotta get the fuck out. Like that's how it works. And that's where most of these guys that get out and they fall into it, like, and you can see it like, hey, if you fucking retired at 18 fucking years, there's a story there. If you retired at 16 fucking years, there's explanation there. You have to explain it, right? Like you didn't do the full term. I retired at 26 fucking years. There's no story there. There's nothing there. I did my time. I decided it was time to leave. The unit did not decide it was time for me to leave. Right? So those are the questions. Now, the guys that get out and they sell this pedigree, they sell this idea, which I get it. You've got all the goods. You've got everything behind you. You've got all this smoke, right? You did the deed. You did all of it. But when you go to the range, you look like a fucking buffoon compared to guys that actually have performance-based shooting behind them.
Yeah.
Like
I kind of have like a mixed. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That's a fact. No, go ahead, man. Sorry.
Oh, no. Do you finish your train of thought? I don't want to cut you off.
No, I did. It could go on for a millennia, so I'm sorry.
That's what these live streams are for. Oh God, you got that RGB tree in the background. Good Lord. RGB gaming now. I kind of have like a mixed view, kind of growing up in the like my gun career, starting in like the 2014s time frame, where guys with any kind of pedigree were like worshipped, and anyone else would have like zero say. And it's kind of shifted in the opposite direction now that we've noticed, where not only do people with a military pedigree kind of aren't valued as much as they were, a lot of times it's kind of people are viewing that as a negative. It's like, you were in the military, this guy is going to be a fucking bro vet. But I kind of have this middle point of view where at the end of the day, a lot of us, like, for example, Hop, unless, I don't know, something happened in downtown Portland that I don't know of, lack the tactical context, and we have to make a lot of guesswork that the military has. So I think it's kind of if you have any kind of military experience, it is good, but at the end of the day, you need to be able to back up that and quantify that. So my biggest gripe is when military guys kind of show up and they say, when I was in, I did this, ergo you should do this. What I want to hear is when, you should do this for this logical, this reason, this logical reason, this logical reason. And here's an anecdote of one time in the actual shit where something like that pulled off. And it kind of creates a holistic picture to describe what we're ultimately trying to accomplish here.
I agree with that, except for there is no anecdotal conversations that have to happen if the explanation is absolutely precise and makes sense. Sure. Right? Like the pedigree doesn't matter. Like this is what everyone in the YouTube consumer thing needs to understand. Like the pedigree does not matter.
Okay.
It absolutely doesn't. That is some shit I used to do.
My counterpoint from someone as from the civilian perspective, there's a lot of signal to noise hypothetically, right? and it's very difficult to actually, go out and someone tells me one thing and someone tells me another thing, and they both are
Right.
logical. We know that logical things
No.
may not be correct. So
No,
having
so first
a
off,
anecdote really
nobody.
helps. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't help because the thing is that consumers are consumers. Civilians you're sucking in shit from whatever, whether it's a Ryan training group, a failed fucking cop, and you want to take shit in from police officers that were unsuccessful in their career. Like the whole reason the military training complex exists is because cops don't know what the fuck to do. So if you decide you're going to learn from a police officer, you're fundamentally fucking broken at the beginning, right? That's what has been structured in this whole fucking training environment that is YouTube, it's Instagram, it's everything. Now you have guys that come in like, well, hey, I was special forces, this or that, and I was this, and I did this thing, I was MARSOC, I was Navy SEAL, whatever they're saying is noise. But everyone is programmed to look for, oh, I'm going to train with this guy because he was a Navy SEAL. And I know competition shooting gets you killed in the streets, so I'm going to train with this guy who's going to help me tactically be better. Like, so coming into this world, I am fighting against that, like from day one, where you guys are already so fucking broken. How do you put it back together? Because you want tactical knowledge, right? And I'm telling you, you need to shoot. Right?
Maybe I misspoke a little bit. What I'm saying is, I want the logical reason as to why. I want the performance standards. I want to see the guy shoot. But there's a lot of quote unquote philosophy out there, and having anecdotes from actual experience does a lot to sweeten the pie in terms of figuring out, what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. That's all I was really saying.
I disagree. That's entertainment versus training.
Okay.
Right? Do you need an instructor to shoot better than you or to actually shoot good?
I need someone that is experienced in training and diagnosing failures and understands what success looks like.
Well, what you're describing is practical shooters, gamer fags that only shoot competitively. It's not the tactical world, right? Because a tactical shooter might shoot better than you, but he's not a good shooter. And in terms of diagnosing what's training, what is the right thing, and he has never trained himself to a high level to actually be able to diagnose what the fuck is happening anyway. He can regurgitate what he's heard at Mid-South or any of these schools that he went to. But what you actually want is the thing you don't want is you want a gamer fag to run in and like actually teach you how to shoot. And then you can take that knowledge and skill that you would develop over your own work and your own journey and apply that to any tactical situation you want.
So, Ben, as the registered gaming flaggett, what is your opinion on like training military people or people who have this more tactical view of the world rather than just putting holes in paper as fast as possible? Do you ever find that people have like training scars that you have to like overcome to get them to actually do the thing better?
Well, the military guys that I encounter, I don't train like line units. It'll be like high level guys that have been trained, that they want to shoot better. And I'm not selling them anything. I'm just showing them, hey, this is a way you could be faster, more accurate, better with this. They understand tactics. We're not going to talk about tactics at all. They're like, it's just pure shooting, performance shooting. Like that is the easiest crew. Cause like most of those guys, like they've been in bad situations. They've been shot at, whatever. They just they don't care. They just want to shoot better. I mean, ironically, I get a lot of like the discussion on like tactics and like strategy, this and this. It comes from competitive shooters. So I'll see like a mid-level competitive shooter that they want to They want to talk about how do I approach the stage better that'll make me shoot it the way that the high level guys shoot it. And then the answer that I have to give them is like, it's not very sexy. It's like, yeah, we're going to practice on all these foundational skills to be really good, and then you'll be fast.
Yeah, that whole like, because I still active and I can talk from the line perspective. The whole like I was downrange and did this, that lasts about 5%. And I understand what Brass Facts I think it was trying to say was it's easy to identify an instructor based on their credentials, right? So like, okay, he was a Navy SEAL, he did all this, that's great. I can at least have a starting point potentially. But I can tell you like what we do, we'll teach an instructor, right? One of us will demo the course of fire, and then the candidates will do it. And then we rinse and repeat. We AAR it, rinse and repeat, or do a few more repetitions, right? And then, okay, new drill, teach it, demo it, they shoot it, AR it, or rinse it, a couple of repetitions, and then new drill, right? And they see through all the BS that X-Ray is talking about. Dude, you will see through, yeah, man, back in Iraq. Okay, cool, dude. That's awesome. That's an awesome experience. Thanks for the war story. But then you transition into actually getting through the drill, and it's like, okay, like they don't want to see you get 100% on the drill. They want to see you get like a 90 or an 85, but do really well and do all the things that you're telling them to do and demonstrate how it can help them.
Dude, I can tell a quick story about this. Like, first time I met Ben, right? I went to him as a like litmus test for the unit. Wanted to train with him. Read all his books. Like, this was Ben. When was it? 2013, 2012.
That sounds right. 2013 sounds right.
2013. Went to him. Was like, hey. Found his stuff online. Like, the unit has always done practical shooting. Practical shooting has been the method of training, like for at least since I was there, probably 10, 15 years before that, right? It's performance based. Like, I need to make the bullets go where I need them to go as fast as I can get them there. Found Ben, was in the cycle of like, hey, Jerry Barnhart, Jerry Michalik, Rob Latham, Casey Eusebio, JJ Ricazzo. We had all these guys in. It's like, hey, we're doing a good thing, but like innovation, like, are we doing the best thing? Let's find someone else. Found Ben, found his books, started reading them, sent him an email. Like, hey, Matt, I want to come train with you. I'm in the military. His first response was like, I don't really carry training. I'm like, well, you'll want to train with me. This will be a good thing. Like, I want to come to you 5 days, one-on-one, like 5 days at your home range. What's that going to cost? And he gave me like some arbitrary amount, which was like fucking pennies for the military. Ate it. It was like, give me an ammo, give me an address. Let me ship ammo. Shipped him like 7,000 rounds. I showed up and had a week with him, one-on-one, and they had just shot a match. He got his match director to leave the stages up. We go to a range, and he's like, hey, where's my ammo? We start unloading it. We start talking. And I will tell you, like, my first impression right off the bat, he's like, let me check my gun. We're standing at like 30 yards away from a plate rack, and he's like, ding, 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 faster than I could shoot a plate rack. As an operator that can do this thing, I was like, all right, that was pretty legit. He goes, yeah, it's pretty zeroed. We started shooting, and he I think you started with like, we were going to do your skills and drills type class, right? Or something from a private nature like that. When we started shooting, and I was already a practical shooter, I'd already been doing it. And he was like, oh shit, you can shoot. I was like, yeah, well, that's literally why I'm here. Let's do this. Like, and we talked the same language. I liked his aggressive talk. He liked the way that I talked, and all we did was shoot stages. From that interaction, right? That was the nexus that like built. I went back, like we shot for 5 days, came back, wrote it all up. Like, hey, this is the dude we need to go, and he literally visits that unit, every single team, every single troop on cycle. So anyone like this is all these guys living. You live in this fucking fake world of whatever. You're enthusiasts. I'm into guns. I want to do this shit. We did this shit for a living at this time. It was the only thing we did. And we looked to one place to get better. Why in the fuck can't all of you guys look to the same place? Why are we still having this conversation about you can't figure out where the fuck to stand in a room, or you can't figure out where to stand around a car? That's retarded easy business. The problem is you can't figure out how to do the thing with your fucking tools because you buy gear to try to make yourself better, not understanding you suck because you don't put in the effort.
Oh my god!
Tell me I'm
you know
wrong.
We know what professionals don't ask.
I'll
When you
call
get to the
bullshit
range,
on anyone.
yeah, dudes don't ask, hey, what dot are you running? You know what I mean? Or hey, what gun are you running? It's just like, okay, is it zeroed? Are you ready? Are your
No
mags
one,
loaded? Yeah.
no one gives a fuck. I'll grab your gun, you with it. It doesn't matter. You guys are focusing on the wrong fucking thing. YouTube, social media, Instagram. This is the one thing I've been against since day one. Right? It was created from 2012 when none of us could have Instagram. We watched YouTube videos and had shit sent to us by our wives of looking at all the fucking nonsense that was out there. The problem is, here we are in 2024, and you fuckers can't get past it. You're still taking tactical fucking classes, and you can't shoot your fucking guns. Like, you're enthusiasts. You're excited about entertainment, and you want to do things that have no, like, they don't matter. You can't even critically think about what you're trying to train for, right? You just want to figure out where to stand around the car, where to stand in the room. I want to take a CQB class. Motherfucker, you need to take a shooting class for like 4 years and then figure shooting out. And then we talk about CQB. Like, I hate to say it, like it's one of the things. Like, I want the argument. Argue with me. Like, tell me. Like, tell me why I'm wrong. Shooting is the key fucking thing. It's not kit. It's not gear. It's not tactics. It's you can't deliver the point of work with your fucking tool.
You know where, and I think that's where a lot of guys go wrong, especially if they're from money, right? They have a lot of money. They're like, okay, I'm going to take a basic handgun class, like a 101, handgun 101. And then they go, I'm going to take a rifle 101. Okay, I'm going to take a advanced rifle, and then I'm going to do a CQB. It's like, okay, let's pump the brakes here. Okay, let's just get good with your primary and your secondary weapon, and let's dry fire and do some basics, like you're saying, because once you start doing the CQB and all the vehicle, and don't get me started on
let's talk about hold on. Let's talk about CQB for a minute, man, because here's the thing. I hate to bust the fucking internet's bubble. CQB is not for everyone.
Especially if
it
you
isn't.
have a safety charge to blow the door, and
No, there's literally selection processes for every unit that does CQB for you to get into it. At the higher levels, now we're talking about extreme psychological selection processes that dive into, like, are you even fucking trainable to do this at a higher level? I get it. You really want to do it because Orion Training Group and Project Echo told you want to pie the fucking doorway and do this shit. You don't have it in your brain, in your entire being, to ever do this shit for real. If you do, hey, There's a whole bunch of 1-800 numbers you can call, and you can enlist and join. You can join LAPD. You can get on LA SWAT. Like if you're the CQB ninja and you don't want to be in the military, get on fucking Delta Company, fucking LAPD. Like they'll love to have you.
I think more of the YouTube stuff, Matt, is about gear, though. I lean into it. I just talk about gear on YouTube.
It's what everyone wants to talk about. I want to fix it. Yeah, it's enthusiast. It's enthusiast behavior, right? I got this gear. I got this mount. Look at this coffee cup. This is a fucking G9000. It's fucking.
No, yeah, you need the G10,000
from it.
That one's dumb.
Yeah, no, gear is super simple to talk about, right? It's sexier, it's hotter, it's new gear coming out, new hot thing comes out this month, and everybody's talking about it. So then you catch the algorithm talking about a certain product. So it's easy and it's fun to do. Whereas like real generic good training advice is not as sexy. It's not as easy to make content on it. It actually takes a lot more skill to do it well.
So in this panel, let's talk about. We all carry everyone carry a pistol, EDC. Are we all supporters of that?
I support it. Theory, of course.
We carry a pistol. Everyone raise their hand if you're M class or above. Are you a GM shooter?
I have no
here we go, Matt.
to find out.
You're a fucking gear enthusiast. Like if you carry a gun every day, you better be badass with it. You walk around, everyone walks around like, oh, I can fight or whatever. Can you fight? When was the last time you got in a fight? We talk about gunfighting. We talk about all this shit. This is like the fakest fucking world on the planet is the fucking gun community.
I don't fight.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Nice
what?
I don't fight people. I'm a nice person.
You're a nice person. You carry a gun every day. You prepare for fights.
The gun's just a fashion accessory. It goes great with my belt.
The Adidas shoes, the leather belt.
You can be sarcastic about it, but I would assume that you probably your YouTube or your fucking Instagram says a different story, right? That you're like tacticaled out and everything. Maybe it's gear reviews, maybe it's whatever, but like. You don't live that fucking life.
I'm going to shoot somebody. I'm putting the night vision on first.
No, you're not. The only reason you have night vision because you had an extra fucking 10 grand laying around.
Wouldn't that be nice?
There's no need for it. Like it's what I'm saying is like everyone needs to just get on the range, build skill, build true skill. Like that is unwaverable, that you can on-demand performance, right? And then go test it, right? And how do you test it? Like with a pistol, USPSA, IDPA, PCSL, there's tons of places to. Go see if you're as good as you can. That's the best thing you can do, is actually build skill and stop building a persona around a fucking skill that doesn't exist.
So let's talk about that. What's the best way to practically build skill? Let's say you're somebody who's a very entry-level shooter. You already have the handgun of choice, whatever it happens to be. You have a couple grand laying around. Is it better to invest half of that in training courses or take that into ammo? Like, Ben, what's your thoughts on that?
I would maybe do a training course. I mean, it depends on it. It depends on people's personality. I think if you go do a training course, it gives you like a framework for how you're going to practice, right? That's really what you want to take away from there. That's why I hope people take away from a course with me. So if they did a course with someone, then spent the rest on ammo and, whatever other training tools you might need, like a timer is useful to have, targetry, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, a couple $1,000, you go pretty far with that.
Yeah,
I mean, that would keep me busy for like a year. Especially poor Ben when I was younger, like a couple $1,000 would have been a lot.
Oh yeah, no, that's a lot of ammo. The average person is not putting that much time, even in ammo training, in like their first 5 years, probably. The average person.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I
got a
think
question.
on average, people don't train.
Yeah. Well,
It's not
there's
even
that.
yeah.
Average people don't even dry fire. We're not even to the training level. They don't shoot the gun even. They don't even bench press the gun. That
So,
So I think half
so
the majority of this battle isn't even the actual training. It's okay investment of time. So like I don't invest my time in people like the people that X-Ray is talking about, the people that are talking about vehicle CQB when they haven't mastered their gun or whatever. I don't invest time in those people. Once if you come to me and you're like, hey dude, where do I start with kit? And I'm like, okay, well. Talk to me about your mindset. What are your goals here? And if they start talking about, oh, I'm just trying to copy Garan Thumb's kit setup, I'm like, I don't have time for you. I'm sorry. This is a fad for you. That's cool. Enjoy it. Go to Reddit and find your kit loadout. But when they're like, okay, I want to get better as a shooter. I want to get better. I want to be able to defend myself or whatever. Then, okay, now we have a conversation. We can actually approach this with, we can actually set a diet of training for you rather than, hey, why should I buy the Springfield Prodigy? It's like, okay, we're already lost, right? Consumerism.
so if you look at like any other sport entry level thing where you're like training for this, like, do you think like jiu-jitsu guys go to their first jiu-jitsu gym and they're like really trying to figure out what fucking type of gi to buy?
No,
Like
it should be starting basic movements.
That's the thing, right? It's the white belt that shows up to a fucking gym in a black gi. You're gonna get your fucking shit pushed in all day long, right?
Well, I think that's the barrier of entry for guns, right? Like you can go out, you can buy a Staccato. What is the good one, Ben? The XC?
Yeah, the XC is the one to get, dude. It's definitely the coolest.
Right. So there's some dude right now that's balling out of control. He's going to buy the Staccato XC and he's going to buy his Knight's armament, and you can't tell him otherwise. And now he has a good, like, I guess, equalizer in that the gun won't break, right? I think we can all agree it has a higher probability than buying like a PSA. So that's cool, right? And like you're saying, buying the gi, I mean, they've already for the gun world. Okay, cool. You got your JPC, your high cut. You're cool, you're pro, you got your kit, your loadout, but you have zero experience. I mean, at least hopefully the gear won't break, but you don't even know how to maintain it or use it, right? So
not to interrupt. Something I have to say real quick though, Luke, if you're still watching, I do need another beer. Anyway, sorry, continue.
What?
I have to disagree with that analogy because you're like, hey, I'm going to buy a Staccato or a PSA. PSA doesn't make pistols. And then
No, they do. Dagger.
They do now.
Yeah.
So what my analogy is,
you
can buy the highest end, let's say a Glock 19 with freaking whatever, a 507 comp. You got a Glock 19 with a 507 comp and you got a Knight's armament with an aim point, right? And you got the best.
Luke, please.
All right.
Yeah,
So
a good starting point, right? But
how do you combat that, right? You got tons of guys here, right? You guys are all consumers of this. Like, how do you combat that where guys are just hyper focused on the marketing aspect of this so-called community we're all in, and then I got to get this gun because this guy shoots this gun or this guy shoots that gun or whatever. Like, what do you tell people that are entry level into shooting? Like, what gun should I buy?
Oh, Matt, you got to understand. Like, I'll tell you my strategy. I just ignore all that. Like, I ignore those questions and that stuff and just put out like the training content that I want to, or like talk about training stuff that I want to. And then if it's not for people or they're not interested in it, they're just not going to listen. But you kind of pull in people that are interested in that sort of thing. Like, I'm not really a YouTuber, right? I just put training stuff on there and talk about different shit.
No, I know that. It wasn't really directed at you, Ben. It was directed at the other guys who are actually like civilians that do it.
You guys all right over there?
Yeah, he just needs more beer. I think there's a question for you, Mr. Focus Trip.
Sorry, I was distracted by the hop facts.
So
Matt.
you're saying, how do we get people invested? Is that your question?
No, I'm
answering.
saying like y- we talk about this, right? Like I have tons of strong opinions about the gear, the marketing, or whatever. But for you guys as civilians, like if guys are entry level shooting, like how do you guide them the right way? Right? Because they're going to be like, hey, what gun should I buy? What should I do? You're all
Right. So
influencers.
I'll
You're
be
you're the gun
yeah,
influencers.
I'll talk this. So I avoid training content because I am not good enough to offer training advice. So that's why I have never put out a training video. I've never entitled the video how to shoot better, anything like that. I am simply not good enough to offer that level of advice. And I think there are pro level shooters like Ben and others on the platform
Wait,
that are, which is why I
I
keep
did.
my discussions very simple towards like gear and stuff like that. I try to show competent shooting to the best abilities, but that's about the best that I can do in that regard.
I didn't ask about training content. So you focus on gear,
Correct.
right? Like that's the problem with the industry. Is that well, I could stop shooting today and just focus on gear and be like, hey, MFDF dude, shoot this gear, shoot this gear, shoot this gear.
Hey, Matt, you probably
Like
make more money.
that's not the answer. The problem is that like too many people are racing to put content out about fucking gear. The gear doesn't matter. Do you not understand that?
So I think it's
Or am I
important to have a
fucking
balance, right? I mean, it's important for Focus Trip, or I mean, Brass Facts. I wouldn't consider Brass Facts channel, and I'm going to categorize how I think of your channel, and you can disagree, right? Or Hop. So Focus, Brass Facts, and Hop, they review gear, right? They review gear extensively. You know, higher round count, or they give their opinions based on equipment. If that opinion is true, what's the word, genuine, you know, they're not actually just, hey, go buy trash product because they're a sponsor. As long as they're being genuine, I think that content is valuable. But I agree that it's in a different area. It's not in the same of like, okay, I need to figure out how to shoot better, right? So I think those
in,
channels are valuable and also entertaining, but you know, so that yes, they're required, but it's a little bit of a different category altogether.
I
wait,
think
is the gear if I have like a layman review gear, is that the same if I have a expert review gear?
Depends on what you qualify as an expert. Like I live in my
That's
flick or my flick
yes.
carrier, right?
So
I live
so
in my
let's
gear.
so
Sorry.
let's talk about this. Yeah, it's like this is the problem with content, right? This is the problem with like people just pushing shit out. Like and I don't know Hop Facts or who the other guy is, but in terms of like you review gear, your channel is built off gear. You made a business off of reviewing gear, right? From what foundation does that come from?
Oh, okay. So, I come from the perspective of, you know, when I got into this, there's a lot of really bad gear, and I didn't have the time to vet what the bad gear, what the good gear is, as a consumer. So I had to do a lot of trial and error of just carrying absolute garbage, running some gear that, you know, I spent a lot of heavy.
Because you were wearing the gear for work?
No, I was just a civilian wanting to conceal carry.
It's for fun.
Okay.
Was there what? Is there a point?
No, I was just
sorry, I'm not understanding.
I was asking like the gear, like is it concealed carry gear? Is it all the gear because you used it for work and it wasn't meeting your need for your actual job, or it was just like you carried it and it wasn't meeting your need for your own life?
I don't use any gear for work because I don't have a job.
I mean, we opened this with the Prodigy, right? That's a good example of a very expensive gun that has been hyped up by a lot of people. And I don't know, maybe you guys are balling pretty heavily with some sponsorship money. But at least when I was starting out, I didn't have very much money lying around, and I sometimes bought into some hype and bought some shit that set me back a year or two in terms of firearms procurement. So
I will tell you, I think I'm balling out of control pretty good in the training world. Zero sponsorship money, zero money from anyone, buy all my own gear, but I use the gear. Right? I use it in a work life that I still have. I use it in my past work life. I use it constantly, but I buy it myself. So I understand what you're saying. My point is that
I haven't really said anything yet, to be fair. But
no,
yeah,
I'm just fucking attack you for no reason. So no, because you guys are sitting there like the dude sitting to your left is like a sarcastic dude. So like I'll destroy fucking you like on this live easy. You guys are coming from a point of no experience, right? You're coming from a point of enthusiasm, and then that is what gets put out to everyone that they take as actual fact. Now, guys from points of experience and points of relevance have to combat that fucking full time. It becomes a full-time fucking job to undo.
I thought earlier you mentioned
shit.
that like your shooting ability should be what dictates performance, not your prior pedigree in the military or whatever.
No,
I'm
I
just trying to
agree.
get your point straight.
I mean, I will say, like, as far as the pedigree goes, I think it's one of the best finishes in WWE history. Personally speaking, like, I always thought it looked fucking sick. That was back when Tripp was still allowed to hook the arms. But I mean, obviously that was unsafe, so they had to basically like neuter it a little bit. So it was safer for the wrestlers to take that finish, but they had to not hook the arms because that obviously the head hits the canvas really fucking hard at that point.
And
so,
I don't even know what you're talking about, but it's the same.
Pedigree.
It's the same thing I would talk about.
Well, we've been talking about the whole time. Is the pedigree.
Dude, no, it's not the whole time. What we're talking about are like dumbasses like you that fucking have YouTube channels that have fucking say in what kit people wear. And you sit there like a sarcastic motherfucker that is just like, oh, that's the whole shtick on the internet. But at the end of the day, you're low skill, low fucking commitment, high opinion motherfuckers that have fucking YouTube channels. Like, honestly, like that's what we're talking about.
So
tell me I'm wrong.
Well, my question is, at the start you mentioned that pedigree and like infield experience doesn't matter. It's your ability to shoot and experience, like your ability to perform on the line, right?
Yes.
But now you're saying that no, it's actually the other way around. You need to have an experience to be able to have a voice in the arena. So I think there's a little bit of confusion there with what's going on.
I didn't say it was the pedigree. I said, like, I don't lean on my pedigree. I lean on my ability currently. And then what I asked you was, when you talked about
what was my
kit,
pedigree?
I said, do you wear a kit for a living? I didn't ask you what your pedigree was. I said, do you wear the kit for your job or whatever? You're like, no, I don't.
But that was your criticism of, what we do. It's like, we're not pretending to be anyone, but I think we can shoot pretty well. Competition scores are useful to look at, stuff like that. But if that doesn't count, obviously we don't have the experience, and then we would defer to someone with experience. But you're also saying, pedigree doesn't matter. Your actual experience in doing the deed doesn't matter. So it's a bit of a, I'm not understanding your position. Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Hop's a little tired of shit. I'm just trying to understand your position.
You can be disrespectful all you want. My position is no. I don't.
I'm just trying to understand. I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
What anyone's pedigree is, right? I'm talking about if you are giving like gear reviews, and hey, this is the thing. I do gear reviews because of X, Y, and Z. And I asked, I go, did you wear that equipment for work? Was it a business?
No, I'm not talking about that. To be sure, you're locked in on that. I'm talking about your follow-up comments and your leading comments. But I think we're just kind of going in circles on that right now. I don't know. Like, I wasn't really able to finish my point that when you asked the question to me, but why we do gear reviews is, when I was starting out, it's hard to discern what bad gear is, what good gear is, and what really good gear is. And a lot of times gear doesn't matter. Like you said, absolutely. I say time and time again that, good gear and bad gear, like nowadays we have a shitload of choice. They're all pretty damn good. But in the realm of, spending hard-earned money, you can go down traps and buy some pretty shit gear. And we exist in the very small niche of gear to make sure people that can't put in the time to vet gear can maybe make an informed decision and not burn money like I did, at least when I got into the firearms space. And that's kind of where we exist at. But, maybe that doesn't count because we lack.
The reason that gear reviews exist in the first place is because there are always new people coming into the hobby, or maybe it's not a hobby, maybe it's a lifestyle, whatever. There are always new people that are in the market for their first gun, their first plate carrier, their first chest rig, their first whatever, their first LPVO. Those people need to be well informed about the quality of the products available on the market. So not every single review is a call to action saying, hey, everybody who watches this needs to go buy this new product, consume new product, get excited for next product. No, there are people like that, and that's fine. That's their use of their money. Good for them. I don't really care. The fact of the matter is, if someone's trying to purchase their first LPVO ever, they need to be, or at least should be, pretty well appraised of the market. What's good, what's bad, what's overpriced, what's an unrecognized value. That's why gear reviews exist. That's why product reviews exist. It's because there's always somebody who's just about to get into it. The people who've been doing it for a long time, who have old gear, their old gear is still fine. In that sense, the gear doesn't matter. Sure, if you've already got the gear doesn't matter. If you don't have any gear, the gear matters because you have to have the gear.
And something that some of these other guys do, like Brass and Hop, is they'll do more concept style videos as well. So it's not even necessarily talking about a specific product, but about what works in what situation, pros, cons, downsides, comparisons, all that sort of stuff. When I do my reviews, I almost take it from the opposite perspective of like, not what should you buy, but like how bad is this thing that you should not buy it, basically. Right. And so if you're asking about like my personal like pedigree or whatnot, I've been shooting for like 10 years now and I'm decent at some things, but I am no master level shooter. So Matt, my question for you is, what is the entry point before you can talk about gear?
Hook the arms, John.
Stop. I'm cutting you off again.
The entry point, I don't care when you talk about gear, but the same way you have the platform to talk about gear, I have the same platform to fucking disagree with you talking about gear.
Well, yeah, but what I'm asking is what level
I don't talk about
where you can.
Is it 50 hours, 500 hours, 5 deployments, 5 years? I think that's what he's asking.
No, I don't care what the entry. Oh, well, clearly the entry point is just two fucking Muldoons that get a bunch of shit and start testing it out, and they tell people as an entry point,
he's saying,
hey, this is going to work and not work.
What he's saying is, at what point would we be allowed to review gear where you would not be critical of? I think is the point he's getting at.
Well, and I also want to be clear. No.
You're allowed to review gear wherever and whenever.
Right,
the fuck
without you being
want.
critical of how we go about it. Like, what's the threshold where you, in your ideal view world, what do our type of people look like?
What the fuck do you care if I'm critical about it?
Well, it's a live stream, so I want you're giving your opinion. So I'm curious, from your perspective,
I'm giving my opinion.
What would people like us look like, where you would not be critical of what we do? Because you're obviously critical of how we go about things. So what
would
type
never
of person
happen
would be in our place? Okay, so it's impossible to review.
No, I don't care about the reviewing gear. It is a live stream, and we're talking about it. And then
I'm just trying to get your perspective.
I just give my opinion about the gear review shit and the stuff that I've seen historically, and I don't honestly care for it. I'm not interested in the gear world the same way you guys are. Like,
Okay.
why the fuck do you care about my validation of what you do?
Nah, I'm not looking for
Me
validation.
personally, I fucking don't.
Right. I'm looking to continue the conversation. Right.
I know
I'm
you
trying to
don't,
get.
dude.
Don't listen
Also
to him.
know
He's drunk. I'm just trying to continue the
it'd be really
conversation
fucking
about
different if
like,
we ever met.
right. I'm just trying to get your perspective. Right. It's a back and forth.
If we ever met, I'd give you the biggest hug of your life, dude. I'm a hugger.
I'd give you a hug back, brother.
I love how you were.
I don't care about the gear shit. So if you look at the community as a whole, right? I am not a fan of the gear reviews, right? It's not necessarily you guys.
Right. But I'm saying what would need to change, right? Like I'm looking to improve potentially. What would need to change for you to be like, wow, that's a good gear review?
If you want to know, by the way.
Oh my God, no.
Dude, no, I want to hear it.
Well, I want to hear what. Hey Ben, yeah, sorry.
I would like to respond or Ben to respond, but I'd like to hear, like, from your perspective, what would
Ben,
you
I don't
need
know what's
to see
going on.
from gear reviewers
Ben,
so you wouldn't be
Ben,
critical?
Ben has been trying to talk for the last couple minutes. Hello, Ben? You there, Ben? No, I can't hear you, Ben.
He's trolling us.
You've been trying to talk for the last couple minutes, but it has not come through, sir. I'm sorry. He's been trying to jump in here a couple times.
So, Matt, if let's say you were going to buy said helmet, right? You had to buy a new helmet because you just had to. I think what Brass is trying to ask is what would it take for you to trust the reviewer that is putting out that content?
I am not your marketing demographic. I've been wearing a fucking helmet since I was 17 years old. I'm 49 years old. I still wear a helmet. I don't give a fuck about what dudes that never wore a helmet say about a helmet. That's the rub. I don't care about you guys. You shot 2,000 rounds through an LPVO. I don't give a fuck about that. I've shot 10,000 rounds through fucking multiple LPVOs. I've been doing this shit. I am not your marketing demographic, and my opinion shouldn't matter to you.
But we can all agree
on a live stream.
We can all agree time is valuable. Your time is valuable, right? So let's say you just don't have the time to explain something to me. I'm some new gun owner, whatever. I'm a friend, somebody you value. What would it take for Brass Facts channel to be the one that you're like, dude, I don't have time right now because I got to go do another thing. Go check out X channel. What would it take for you to recommend somebody to a channel or a trainer? We can even say a trainer.
I would direct guys to the training side, right? Like, well, what gun should I buy? What gun do you have? Have a gun? No, buy a Glock. Right? That's the entry level. Like, buy a Glock, buy a Beretta, go to the gun store, grab some guns, whatever feels good to you, grab that.
Assuming you don't, sorry to cut you off, assuming you don't have the time to even let's just assume dude has Glock 19, dude has the aspirations to buy a whole loadout. What would it take for you? You're like, hey, I got to run. I got to go do a thing.
This is the thing. In the real fucking world of real dudes, we don't direct guys to YouTube channels. That's what you don't understand in the fucking YouTube world.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying dude that only has access to the internet because it's free. So what would it take what would be your credentials for somebody on the internet for a free content, right? Assuming it's not behind a paywall, for them to just be able to click on it and you could be like, hey, everything I've heard from Brass Facts channel is legit. Go check it out. What would it take for that?
So I don't know about Brass Facts channel or Hot Facts channel. And I'm sure it's good. I don't get on YouTube. I'd be like, go watch Ben Stoeger, go watch Joe Park, go watch PSTG.
I don't do that kind of content though, Matt.
That's the thing. No one does that. No serious dude is looking to fucking the internet to figure out what gun to buy. This is enthusiast shit.
So I would actually, I would disagree with that, right? And
Okay.
it depends on your
Well,
standard.
I think it goes back to what we were saying. Like you went through the service. You've built the experience to know the words that go buy a Glock. But for someone starting out, how do they know the phrase "go buy a Glock"? Who told them that? They have a huge number of people they have to go to, and some people are saying buy an M&P. Some people are saying buy a fucking 320. Some people are saying go buy a 2011.
Some people are saying go buy a Prodigy.
Don't do
So,
that.
for example, if you are talking to, like, let's say a competitive shooter that loves shooting M&Ps, and he might not be sponsored by them or whatever, but it's like, what gun should I buy? It's like, well, I shoot this gun and buy this gun. If you go to a guy that shoots Berettas competitively and he really likes that gun, and he'll be like, what gun should I buy? You got to buy this gun. This is the one I shoot. I love it. If you go to guys that are shooting SIGs, now it gets more dirty if you're talking about, now you have influencers and gun content creators that are paid by companies, right? Let's look at Kyle Lamb. Kyle Lamb for years was like, M&P is the shit. Shoot M&P. It's the best thing, whatever. And as soon as SIG paid him more money, M&P suck and SIG is the jam. And this is what people...
So wouldn't it be nice if there was a hypothetical scenario where someone that knew how to shoot could try every single handgun? So let's say Ben Stoeger could try every single handgun. Stoeger, sorry, my bad.
I say Stoeger
not the Turkish shotgun. Yeah. Could try every single handgun and was not sponsored by anyone. And then from experience of shooting every single handgun can be like, hey, I think this one is about, a 7 out of 10. This one's an 8 out of 10. I like this handgun. I think it performs a little better. This is a good starting point for you. The mags are cheap. This is, it's easily available. People are getting murdered, right? Wouldn't that be a hypothetical good? Wouldn't that be a hypothetically good scenario where they're not sponsored, not being paid off at all, and they're able to go through the gambit of things and offer up real-time information as new handguns come off the lot and be like, hey, man, nowadays, it's not just a Glock. It's an M&P 2.0 and another thing. Wouldn't that be pretty cool?
Wait, so are you talking about Ben or are you talking about you? Because that's two completely different content creators.
Let's say Ben, Ben tries out, like every couple months, he tries out a new handgun. And
that's,
this isn't hypothetical at all.
I do have a question.
This is real. This is reality.
I have a question for you. How would you feel if you hadn't eaten breakfast this morning?
This is why I need to cut you off.
All right, so
I didn't eat breakfast this morning.
So going back to the gun to
holy fucking shit!
Right? So what do you feel makes a channel quality versus just gun slop?
It's not even a channel. I'm talking about an individual.
I know what I understand what you're saying. I understand.
But listen, Trench, here's the fucking problem, dude. I'm in it for quality content, for information. I need about 60 seconds of that a day. Like, I just search it up and I find a specific answer to a specific question. The rest of what I want to consume is the slop, if you want me to be honest.
Right. So
that's what I'm in it for.
So how do you pick your slop dealer? Would you watch a video on somebody telling you that, dude, I promise you, the Springfield Prodigy is going to be amazing. Also, you should definitely pie your corners. Also, all this stuff. What would it take for you to consume that and not throw up?
It has to be super funny. It'd have to be so entertaining because I know that guy's going to be a fucking idiot. So it would have to be a fun channel, like super fun.
I don't know. You're talking about Ben talking about trying out different guns, world champion shoots 50, 60,000 rounds a year versus guys that make a living off of YouTube talking about reviewing guns for 2,000 rounds. What's the more valuable opinion? And that's up to the consumer.
We all know.
I am not going to argue.
If you don't mind. So what you're saying because Ben is a GM shooter, that validates his experience when he says the 320 is I'm sure he said the best handgun of all time. I think that's roughly what he
yeah.
said.
It
Yeah,
is
I
the
think
best.
that's right on
It's
the
the
nose.
best at triggering Matt when I shoot it. He's like, "Why do you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
that?"
So Ben says, "I
a-
love the 320. I would, if this was in human form, I would dicky sucky sucky fucky." But so when he says it, it's valid because he's got the you know the I think the pedigree, you know, to back up his usage of that handgun. So he's, you know, in that case, you're like, okay, I trust what he says, right? So that's what is required. So with YouTubers, it's like, well, we're just shooting at a back berm and we're not quantified. There's no experience there. Ergo, it's just, you know, schlop, for the lack of a better term. But say if someone like Ben had the experience to do so, you would trust that experience. Kind of like how you open tonight with, no, stay the fuck out of my car. He's back.
So one thing that I want to talk about here is that I think that you're correct. Ben's opinion on handguns is infinitely more important than mine because he has the skill, he has the information, and years of training, right? However, I can still provide usable information to my audience by telling them, hey, this rail is out of spec. It's not my problem, right? When a gun has issues or whatnot, I think I can still relay valuable information to the end user. Not as good as Ben's, but there's not 1,000 Ben's. Ben's not even
Matt's not going to like this, but I think packaging up information in an entertaining and well curated format actually makes people want to watch it. I obviously am not trying to get a lot of people to watch my videos. Like, I'm not doing that. I don't edit it. Just like, let it rip, baby. But when people, you know, layer in a little bit of entertainment, a little bit of editing, you know, some production value, I think it makes it like people are going to actually sit there and watch the video. So ideally you get as much of both of those things as you can get.
Well, that's the goal, right? Is some people just want information. Like, I have people comment this all the time. They skip the first 90 seconds of my video because it's usually B-roll montage footage, and they just go to the talking. And I know that that's like 50% of my audience. 50% of my audience, they only watch the first half of the video, right? Because they're in it for more of the entertainment type stuff. So I know that there's that level of those two demographics that watch my stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I think I understand like kind of why you guys do like I don't do YouTube. I'm not interested in that. So my opinion, I'm not the consumer that really should have a value opinion. I don't watch any of your YouTube shit. I don't care about it. It doesn't affect me, but I still have opinion about what I have seen on YouTube. But you honestly shouldn't take my fucking opinion for anything than what it is. Like, it's my opinion.
Right.
What
And I don't think the
entertaining
target,
fucking gun content? It's not important to me.
and most dudes aren't
actually
operators, you know what I mean? And I think where this whole thing generated from was Garan Thumb, and I'll just bring it full circle. Here we go. Garan Thumb saying, hey, I'm a good dad, allegedly. I'm faithful to my wife, allegedly. And I'm also allegedly doing the actions that were previously discussed. But when somebody sells me a mission statement, right? If you sell me your mission statement and then potentially turn around for that all to be untrue, that's what I'm talking about. And so for me, and just to bring this full circle so people can give their opinions, for me, I think it's important for people that have a voice, right? The Ben Stoeger, I get it wrong every time. The Ben Stoegers will rise up, even though he does no intro, no outro, hits the big red button. Now he's talking to his camera and he uploads it without looking at it twice, even though he puts Siggers on the title. He doesn't care, but he understands, even though he might not say he does, his sphere of influence is very large, right? Because he is talking from a point of validation. People will give him credit, not because he's a GM, because I don't care that he's a GM personally. I care that he's a good shooter, right? And you can tell just based on the things that he's saying, because it comes from very similar things that I have been taught and, you know, et cetera. So I think the discussion here tonight is, okay, me as a very kind of a fake gun tuber, but like I guess to bring it back to brass facts, why do we feel like, you know, brass facts has their seat at the table, and and the people that don't have a seat at the table, right? Because they're not genuine or whatever. What do values mean to you guys? And I guess, what is the current state of GunTube? Is GunTube at an S tier, an A tier? Like, how would you guys rank the current status of both entertainment and quality, like, in the space, I guess?
Dude, it's stale. It's fucking stale. It's boring.
I agree.
It's boring. It's boring as shit. You want me to tell you the truth? And I'm in for the drama. I like that stuff. I like that shit. I like drama, but here's the problem. It's a stagnant thing. Like the gear there's new gear, but it's not really that interesting because the gear's so good now. You know,
Right.
people have gotten very good at shooting, but nobody's really interested in that anyway.
Well, it's
So
like here's
so it's
the
important to have a personality, right? So it's important for your channel to have its unique personality. Like Focus Trips, you're going to get a long intro. That's his personality. He's going to edit some Batman voices in there, you know, and all the stuff.
It's
cool.
a good intro, by the way. I've
It's a
replayed
good
that.
intro. And
I was
you're gonna
impressed.
get-
Music taste. It's crazy. Like, I don't know.
So that was very certain. Just to talk about that for a second. So the backing track for that is called Onwards, which just really worked together for what was just going on a couple days ago. So I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
With all the research, you know, calling me, trying to get me to not switch. So I thought that was fun.
What is the wattage on that fucking Christmas tree, by the way?
We're committed to the door.
Shut the fuck up.
No, no, this is,
I'm
actually,
muting
this is
you.
wholesome. This is wholesome shit.
Send
All
it.
right. Trench Grenade, I would like to ask you. So here's the thing. Like, in my family, I know this is totally unrelated to the topic, but my family is white light Christmas tree people. And I've always been a colored light Christmas tree guy. I always really wish that we had colored lights on our tree.
They're-
And my whole
they're
family
called
shot me
lights
down
of
every
color?
year. I'm just stoked to see a person with colored lights on a tree. I just think it's cool.
Well, I'm dating a conservative from New York that carries a Glock 19, right? So she
That's a hell of a
created,
combo.
right? She created this, and I was like, I was gonna do this in the normal like studio, my freaking guest bedroom area, but I was like, no, I'm gonna trigger some people with the tree early. And Matt, the second Matt joined, he said, "Is that a fucking Christmas tree behind you?" And it worked right off the rip. So
You have the best set. I have alcoholism and a van that I, may or may not pick children off the street with. You got to do what you got to do.
Don't be just
And
admitting
Nick has a really good question. So he says most GunTube is trash now. It's just about rampant consumerism and very little content about skill development. And most of the skill development is about becoming a LARPy right-wing paramilitary. Well, that's the sexy part of it. But there is this element of consumerism, right? Where it is all the big guys, they talk about whatever new product it is every week. And it's basically just it's a glorified ad a lot of the time.
right.
It's like,
Okay, well, let's remove the glorified ad component, right? Because that was not what the comment was about. It's about, addressing consumerism. But I think a lot of people confuse reviewing what is new with consumerism, right? So, for example, I know some people don't have.
Let me jump in real fast. So, yeah, I know when you guys review something that's new, you're not like pushing that to like buy. But I'm saying YouTube in general, when they're reviewing something new, it's usually very positive. Not saying that's entirely the case.
I would argue that's a indication of the quality of the YouTuber, not the general trend.
And
But yeah,
that's why we're here.
I see what you're saying, and that's why I kept asking Mr. I think Matt or X-Ray Alpha here. What from his perspective, if someone very detached from the spear would want to see to not have that knee jerk, or not knee jerk, sorry, wrong word, but reaction to the situation. And I think he kind of answered that. But maybe we don't need to retread that. We've retreaded it for a good
Nobody
fucking-
from my world is watching fucking YouTube to figure shit out.
Well, I would.
It's just not happening.
I'll go against that, Matt, because guys will secretly watch YouTube. So I'll tell you this: it's not cool in the infantry, right? If you go to 425 or now 211 or the 173rd, right? Still, regular airborne infantry units, guys are not going to work being like, "Oh, did you see the latest, Garan thumb video?" Well, they're not doing that. But what they are doing is they're going home, they're drinking a bunch of Jack Daniels, watching it in secret, coming back to work, and then pretending like they thought of this stuff on their own. So guys do consume. I can tell you, guys consume stuff. Because me,
Grand Thumb specifically has a lot of culture, like influence. I mean, he's like, I think famous outside of YouTube a little bit.
Correct.
I mean, famous enough, he should not be on dating apps now that he's going to be getting a divorce. Like, you cannot be on dating apps, bro. Too much profile.
Dude, I only have
We did it, fellas.
30,000.
We're on the topic at hand.
We made it to the topic. 90 minutes into the stream. Topic achieved. Thank
Right.
you.
And
Thank
you
you.
I
guys-
feel like a dick. Panone got to my house like 40 minutes ago. I was supposed to get on.
You can have
We actually
Oh, I
have a
will.
pretty hard out here coming up soon as well, though. So
Good. Good.
Just say,
Well, so talking about the Garanthem thing, and yeah, he does that. He has 4 million subs. His demo is probably 2 million of those are under 35, so he has a lot of influence on younger people. And
Under
so, from your perspective, sorry, go ahead.
Dude, I think a lot of his viewers are young, like 10 years old.
Well, like that's also very possible.
Like very. I mean, honestly, I think there's a
Are
lot
they
of them are
allowed to
quite
watch
young.
it though? Like, if they have an account, if their parents have an account, can a literal minor watch his content because it's gun content? I don't, because I always
No,
put-
not if they let him. Not if they don't let him. But
what I'm saying,
I mean,
like my
who the fuck
videos-
parents their kid anymore?
like my videos, I always put no, it's not for kids when it gives you that option, right? Because I don't know the ramifications and I don't want to find out, right? But it will physically let a minor click on a gun content video.
Yes, it will. They're not age restricted.
Okay, I didn't know.
Not unless they're on the kids app.
Well, yeah,
I
but
mean,
anyway, I mean,
there's-
I would say, guys, the active duty dudes do consume. They do consume gun content and gun review because dudes will look up a freaking right. They'll ask me for dry fire advice, and I'll be like, "Hey, Ben Stoeger or whatever." But they're already, I've already heard of him. I'm already subscribed or whatever, right? So, and proof of the matter is when you run into people and they're like, "Hey, what's up, Trench?" And I have a very, very small channel. You know, if you're in a DFAC and you know someone is a candidate in the schoolhouse and it's like weird, it's a weird interaction. So I would say there are definitely, what do they call it, sleeper cells or people consuming content out there that would not necessarily go to work and just advertise that they're doing it on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, that's not what I said. I said none of the dudes in my sphere are consuming it. I get it that the infantry and everyone else is sucking it up, but the guys that I work with are not.
Awkward pause. Wait.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know
Wait.
where we went with that conversation. Bring it back
What?
to
Bring it
I
back to Grantham. Well, I can tell you
Wait,
how
so-
I like. I can tell you, Matt and I had a long talk about Grantham. What, like, you wanted to cuss him out like 2-3 weeks ago, Matt, and I had this
So-
whole talk with you because I'm not a Grantham watcher. The content's
So I
not
w-
made for me, and I was like,
I w-
you were mad. You're like, I didn't know anything about him, and I'm just like, I didn't think he was in the military. Like, that tells you how close of attention I pay. I didn't know
So I-
anything about it.
I will say, like, I said my piece with Mike, right? We got on the phone with him, talked to him for about hour and a half, said everything I needed to say, right? Everything that I believe, like, fake dude, everything, don't believe it, whatever. Said it all to him, like, as close as I could get to his face, right? I don't agree with any of the shit he's ever done. I don't like it. I think he sucks guys into the bluff on faking dudes into thinking he's some sort of PJ or whatever. I don't like my own opinion, and guys will crucify me. I don't like the way I don't like any of that shit. So that's my view based off my experience. I said my piece with him, but at the end of the day, I think he's not the only one that are completely fucking fake human beings on YouTube. He just got caught.
Maybe a counterpoint, like, just get the fuck away from me. Maybe a counterpoint for, because there's, you know, I like to play devil's advocate. Shut the fuck up. It's not necessary, like, even if Grantham himself is a fake ass human being, the message he shows a lot of times is not necessarily wrong. And having 10-year-olds watching gun content of dudes wearing full ass plate carriers talking about, you know, more serious use of a lot of this stuff is not necessarily a bad thing in the grand scheme of things. Now, the dude obviously majorly fucked up. But I think we need to be careful with our criticism, not to criticize like what Grantham has done and the audience that he reaches, which it's not a big deal. Like, I think it's a good thing if 10-year-olds are watching a dude burn it the fuck down or whatever and think this stuff is cool. Like, that's I think that's kind of a good thing in the long run.
Is cool, but we do have to be careful with that because that comes with a lot of responsibility.
Absolutely. Yeah. Grand Thumb dropped the ball big time.
Yeah. So talking about positive experience. Sorry, when we both lived in Washington, my first experience with Grantham was he posted something on one of his stories or something about some bill that was being passed and some hearing that you could go to. So I actually signed up for that based off of his story and him getting out the news when we both lived in Washington. So my first interaction with Grantham was very positive, but over the years it just kind of went down.
Yeah, as an instructor, as an influencer, anybody in your sphere of influence, you can't just say, oh, I didn't know the rules. I'm sorry, I recommended that. No, as both, as a fake influencer, but primarily as an instructor for me, when I tell somebody, this is why I got on Orion training groups, because they're taping people's hands to their gun to teach them not to take their hand off the fire control unit, which is stupid. Well, that's a whole nother thing. But as an instructor and as an influencer, you do have a responsibility to your audience. Now, I know people are going to be like, oh, that's not true, and everyone's going to freak out. But if, let's say, Focus Trip goes out tomorrow and says, the PSA dagger is ready for carry out the box, I'm going to text him first, and he's probably not going to read it, right? But I'm going to text him on his DM, be like, I'm going to make fun of you in about 15 seconds. And then I'm going to press the play button, and I'm going to start making fun of him because he does have a responsibility to all the people that follow him, even if he has accepted it or not, to, hey, probably not say crazy things and at least vet it first. Because if you're out here bragging about taping your students' hands to your pistol grip of your rifle, you probably have lost instructor competency or all that, and you're into the area of just trying to make a name for yourself on an Instagram post. So I do feel Grantham, it's cool, it's good. Like Brassfax, you're saying, yeah, it's cool that people have that positive 2A experience, these kids. That's great. But then when you meet your hero and you realize your hero was on Tinder trying to hook up with everything within a 25-mile radius, that's bad. So we have a responsibility.
Yeah. Whenever I agree. I'm not saying that Grantham fucked up and we shouldn't, like, because he's done good, we shouldn't criticize him. So, absolutely, yeah, T-Rex said we should roast the fuck out of him if,
which we are.
All of this stuff is true. I'm just saying there were some comments about how, oh, he's influencing kids, like that's a bad thing. It's like he's done some good. Like, absolutely.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I think his audience skews pretty young. I was watching all that kind of shit when I was 10, if I could find it.
I mean, I think we all watched
I was always
FPS Russia, right? Like, that was a cool thing for us.
Yeah, I think what's got Grantham in a lot of trouble was the all of the kind of moralizing and posturing about being such a good dad and all that.
Heavily, incredibly.
I mean, apart from that, if he was just saying like, oh yeah, I'm a pretty big degenerate and I like just sending it with chicks, and then it comes out that that's what's going on, you'd be like, okay. I mean, I guess that's what's going on.
It's the hypocrisy that's really at fault here.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I guess the problem is, like, I mean, you see Grantham preaching a specific message, and then you see his IRL behavior, and you're like, well, hypocrisy is not great. I know there's a very common refrain, which is that hypocrisy is us reacting to the things that we do not like about ourselves. But also, maybe the message is still good and the messenger is a little bit flawed.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, everyone is responsible for what they're putting out there, right? And he got caught, right? If he was just one of these dudes, if he was still active duty, just going TDY and sending it with every chick he met at the bar and on Tinder, that would be fine as long as he wasn't putting the message out there. Still that's going to catch up to him. It's not the greatest thing. He's having fun doing whatever, but being dishonest to your audience, which if the things that he has allegedly done, if he has actually done and sent all those messages and done all the things,
that sucks.
Yeah. If he has done that, I'm just always gonna be laughing like consistently.
Dude, if he hasn't done that shit, if that's not real, he should for sure do it now, because it's not like he could get in any more trade. Like, what would it matter?
It's like
Bro.
if you're going to be 5 minutes late, you might.
He's
as well
got a
be
license to
5 hours
thrill,
late.
baby.
Yeah, he should get out there and enjoy the decline of Western civilization. He can quit playing.
He's already
Family
been
Man.
accused in the court of public law, so fucking
I'm enjoying it.
burn it the fuck down. God bless. Let's go.
Just doing gain of function
Police
research on
officer,
himself. He's trying to
well,
cure
let's just say women.
So where does GunTube go from here? With all of the, because eventually this is going to die out, and there's going to be,
Wherever it fucking wants, baby.
I mean,
Wherever freedom rings, motherfucker. Come on.
right. I don't know. Ben, where does it go? Where do we go from
Dude,
here?
it's gonna.
Guy isn't degenerate. No, he is. They're all like that. That's
Yeah,
fair.
I don't know. It's getting a little bit boring to me, and that's because we need a shakeup, right? It's like everything. I mean, your people's legal ability to have guns, it's pretty much at an all-time high, right? There's some downsides, but for the most part, guns are accessible. They're cheaper, I think, than they used to be in real terms, not in nominal terms. Like the training is accessible. It's so accessible. There's so much information out there. It's pretty much now just going to come down to the most entertaining stuff is what I would want to watch personally.
And so when you say entertaining, are you talking about like video, audio quality, that sort of thing?
No, I mean like drama, like fucking saucy stuff, dude. That's what I'm into.
Yeah, you certainly love the saucy stuff.
Oh, dude, come on.
Ben's the sauciest person on the panel currently. And
Brother, there is now
never
another.
never mind then. Why did I even
Oh shit! Oh shit! Here we go.
in real time.
Let's see if
real
he
time
gets-
fact checking? This is like being on Elon Musk's X.com, the everything app.
That's right. I just sent everybody a link tonight, so whoever shows up, shows up.
Oh my
Well,
god!
whoever showed up did in fact show up.
Correct. Yes.
I mean, I don't think most guys are going for the audio visual editing, because I think a lot of that does scream shill. Like if I watch a 10,000 subscriber or 5,000 subscriber video and it looks like it took $200,000 to produce every video on his channel, it's like, okay, dude, you're paid for by Brownells.
You're in the minority there. That absolutely does work.
Well, I'm saying Sonoran Desert Institute at some point is going to come across the screen like in big letters, right? So, Sonoran Desert. What's another one? Name another one.
Luke, I need a beer. Brock won't let me have one.
I didn't meet you again.
I don't even think you guys can hear me.
Yeah, we
hear
can.
you.
Oh,
Yeah, we can
crap.
hear you.
Oh crap is right, dude.
Can you see me?
If you
No.
if you're not seeing you have a black screen, but your audio is good. So go ahead and say something.
Lucas
Turn on the
Botkin.
lights, Lucas.
It's okay. I was doing a live stream earlier and I stopped because my marketing director said, "Hey, there's a thing going on. Matt's on it. Ben's on it. This trench grenade guy, Hop Brass." And I was like, "Oh, this is a lot." First off, I thought it sounds like many people to have a productive conversation is what I first thought.
You're correct.
Fucking
I have been watching for a little bit and I'm not seeing a whole lot of moderation or mediation. Maybe that's okay. I would love to hear Matt expound more on his position, because I think there's a huge disconnect in the firearms industry between the civilian consumer audience and the professional military types who do stuff, and law enforcement as well. And I've been working very hard the last few years to try to reduce some of that gap, more with like the mindset and professionalism of how civilians approach training. And it's very hard to make some of that happen. But I actually think, all of us civilian consumer YouTube guys actually do need to surround ourselves as much as possible with people like Matt, who generally are in the shadows, and hear about what do you guys do to be successful, and what can we take from you guys to apply to ourselves to be a more prepared civilian, consumer, citizen, whatever we want to call it.
Yeah.
And I'd actually like to hear more from Matt on like how do people at your level handle the internet, consume the internet? Is the internet a thing? Is it not a thing? Could it be a thing? Should it be a thing? Or is it all fake and gay?
No, I think it's, I mean, the internet is a thing, right? Everyone uses it, right? So you talk about like at my level or guys that are doing this professionally, right? The message has been the same thing that like I've carried into this with Ben, with a lot of different guys. It's hard skills. That is where it resides. It's the training has to be like, what can you do with your tool? So how do you get there? Like, where do you look to it? Like, you look at the best guys. I know when I was in the military, we wanted to be really good at jumping. We looked to professional skydivers. When we wanted to be good at driving, we looked to race car drivers. When we wanted to be good at ropes and climbing mountains, we looked to professional mountaineers. We never looked to tactical guys. Ever. Not once did we ever bring someone in that was like, I was former this or former that. We looked at the true professionals. And that's where I think people need to look is if you want to get good at shooting, look to professional shooters. And it's not a guy that, hey, this is all I do and I get paid to shoot. The best professional shooters in the world have side job. Well, shooting is their side job, right? I talked to Christian Saylor the other day. He does investments. He's an investment banker. That's a world champion, right? The amount of guys that get paid to only shoot, it's tiny. But look to the guys with really high skill level. If you want to be good, if you want to be a really good carpenter, look to a master carpenter. If you want to be a really good plumber, look to a master plumber. Don't look to the dude that says, yeah, I changed my sink drain one time back in 2008. And that's what guys do from the consumerism standpoint, right? We talk about gear, we talk about everything. The YouTube stuff, like you guys were talking about views or whatever, like you live a different world than I live with this YouTube game. And you guys are crushing it. Like that's not a thing in my life. Like I carry a gun for a fucking living. I don't do YouTube videos. I don't have the time or the patience or anything to do what you guys do. Is it needed? It probably is. 100% it is. But like, you don't like my opinion about it because you think you know where I came from or what I did or what I do now. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm just a regular fucking dude that has an opinion about it. You can like it or not like it, dismiss it. It doesn't matter. It's not going to affect what you do. I'm not changing what the fuck you guys do. I just don't agree with a lot of it. And I will also tell you, it's not a thing in my world. It wasn't a thing when I was in the military. We used to watch YouTube videos of Pat Mack to clown him because he's a fucking tool. And we'd go shoot his drills and we'd send it back to him on text message and just make fun of him. It was a joke to us. And he was one of us. But that's what YouTube is. It's entertainment, right? It's like most guys are not doing anything really constructive.
I agree.
I think the thing we're kind of getting at is, we're not you, but where do we go as civilians to exercise our Second Amendment rights, to exercise our preparedness, objectives? Where do we go to get this information? Because we don't have the access to resources you do.
All right.
And maybe I'm shitting the bed as a content creator, but there could be other people out there. We're kind of asking, what would those people be like?
Because I get fucking hate mail all the time on Instagram about you don't support the Second Amendment or this or that. There is no one in this group that supports the Second Amendment more than me. My life is designed around it.
Right, but I think what you're
I challenge anyone, like, but this is the thing, like, you support the Second Amendment. Let's say this hypothetically, right? All right, so you're training, you're building to a really high level of skill, and you're doing this thing, and you're getting really good at it, and you're getting other people to follow you on it. Is that from a Second Amendment perspective? Is that better to do quietly or loudly on the fucking internet?
If you can effectively give your message would not taint the issue of training. So if I put a camera up and I film the training session, not worried about the production quality, edit it and post, it doesn't matter. And I think that's where the messaging gets. You say you're the biggest Second Amendment advocate in the group of this group here, and I would actually disagree with that, because your messaging, your influence, whether you agree with it or not, you have an influence on people. So you telling Brass Facts and Hop, hey Hop, you're goofy, you're trash, right? That's not an effective way of communicating, because we need guys like Hop to draw in that crowd. Now, here's the issue. If Hop goes off tomorrow, buys a PSA dagger, says it's the best thing, now shame. We tell him shame, we kick him out of the circle. But the issue is not your opinions. Your opinions are good, but it's your messaging. So what guys need, like what I think Lucas is trying to get at is, Lucas has spent a lot of time of like, hey, you're not a Navy SEAL, you're not an infantryman, that's okay. But we need people that do have a YouTube channel to be able to say,
you guys care about your messaging. I fucking don't. I don't care. My life will get easier by a factor of 1,000 if I get kicked off social media. I don't make content, right? I run a shooting company as a side hustle, and I have to be on social media because that's how you have to promote it. Because I lost so many fucking jobs initially because people are like, oh, I'm not hiring you because you're on social, right? It's because of the consumerism that wants to see it. So I'll go shoot some. I do social media the same way Ben does. Throw a camera up. I'm going to shoot this one thing, whatever it is, that goes on the fucking internet. I don't care about.
If I can ask, like, what is your mission statement in terms of, because I assume you're training a lot of civilians. What's your exact mission statement in terms of?
I train 0 fucking civilians.
Okay. So
that's where you're confused about what I do. This is where everyone thinks they know what I do. I want to train civilians.
Well, you have a website.
I do. I have a website. The website exists for government agencies to find me, right? Because
the Second Amendment is very civilian centric. The Second Amendment is not about what the Army can use, what the cops can use. It's about what civilians can use. So our messaging and what we've been trying to get at tonight is targeting that demographic. So while you do train cops, and I'll let you go ahead, sir. Sure.
I will challenge you that I've put out more free training information. We put an entire 3-day rifle pistol class on YouTube. Every single talking point for people to find. I tried to make videos to where it's only training, right? I tried all different aspects, like, hey, I'm going to demonstrate. I'm going to do no talking, just words with good long explanations, right? I try to, because I don't have the time in my schedule to do the classes I want to do, open enrollment to bring guys in. I try to put everything out for free. Anybody that's ever contacted me on social media, dude, I do hundreds of people every week teletraining for free.
But
you have a question?
When Joey clicks on your video, and it could be the most effective shooting video in the world, and when they click on your video and they see you saying, welcome to Pistol, I'm just pretending, right? Welcome to Pistol 101. No personality, generally just objectively speaking the drill. That's good. That's a step-by-step method of instruction, but there's no personality. So I think it is important in 2024 to, hey, let's talk about Lucas Botkin. He wears skinny jeans. He's getting into the gym. He has some sort of 2 to 3 layers worth of personality that we can at least be like, I can put my finger on that, and I can either hate on Lucas or I can say, I like his messaging. Now, it comes down to the individual to vet, right? To vet the people that they're going through. But if you are saying you're producing the most content, or the most free content, I would disagree, because if you don't have a personality, and you do have a personality, I'm saying, but if you don't have actual personality behind that content, the average dude, I'm not talking about some operator or some dude that's in the know, because if they're watching this live stream, they're probably in the know, but the average dude that is consuming just trash, gun slop, Johnny Q, GBRS content, they don't care that
So
you're the most efficient, because they don't know, because there's no
and
personality.
I don't care if people follow me. I don't care if people are paying attention to what I do. That's the
But when,
difference between all of you
That's not what he's
guys and
saying,
me.
to be fair,
You
though.
you want followers, you have monetized YouTube. There is a money element to people paying attention to what you do. There
Respectfully,
is
like,
no
you can't train without making. You can't train other people if there wasn't a revenue stream either.
I have more training requests to where the
But you couldn't
social
do
media
that if you
part.
weren't paid.
Say again?
You like monetizing something. Like, you need to monetize your training, otherwise you couldn't train people.
No,
I think you're missing.
yes. But
I think
if I go to a place to do a class, yes, I get paid for it. Right?
That's a requirement.
But I
That's a
don't
requirement. You have to
Paid
be
paid with money.
but I'm not but what I'm saying is I am not monetizing content to
You are monetizing
so
your training regime. It's this
It-
exchange of information.
So
it's
what
the same
Matt,
as your sphere of influence. Like this right now, everything you're saying and doing right now, whether you know it or not, this is either going to positively or negatively affect me, Joe Blow, military dude, right? I might not ever approach you, because most of what being an instructor is, after assuming you're a competent instructor, if you're not approachable and people don't want to talk to you, then you're an ineffective instructor. So what we're
let
trying
me
to say,
hold on. Can I
Go
jump?
ahead.
dude, you're confused that I'm trying to get more people to follow me. That's the
That's not
fucking
the point.
problem.
I don't
I
think
don't
anyone.
care if anyone don't follow me. I don't fucking care. I would
You got it.
if you say I'm an ineffective instructor to where like, okay, I'm not gonna because I don't have a personality or I'm not gonna buy into the YouTube
Matt doesn't want.
mentality or this or whatever. It's not me. I am putting out a message. If you want it, take it. If you don't, it's no skin off my back. I don't give a
That's
fuck.
the exact same logic that most of the YouTube channels are based off of, right? Like, I could do a lot of things to really boost my view count by making entertaining content over, say, educational content. But once again, I think, like, we keep getting off of the subject at hand. Your demographic is not civilians, and civilians
Is that
are the
okay?
second-
Are you? Let me. Oh, hold on. Let me jump in. I have a couple.
Yeah. Sorry.
Please do.
One, I don't know what the objective of the conversation is. It sounds like there's an argument between.
No one does that.
Don't.
I know. I don't try to bring sanity to this. Okay. As someone who knows Matt, now I'm going to give an example. So there are dudes out there. I follow this programmer guy on YouTube. He has probably 20,000 subs. His content is super high level nerd. Like, he's never going to be popular. He's never going to reach maximum amount of people. But he's producing a level of content and education, not trying to reach as many people as possible, but he's produced a level of content that is needed by some people, not the masses, because the masses won't consume it. And I see Ben and Matt being very much in that area where they are producing high level, I would argue, highest level training mindset stuff, high IQ content that the average Grand Thumb viewer is not going to want to consume. They want to watch if breast implants can stop bullets. It's low IQ flop. So here's the thing. So the debate right now between and Trench Grenade, no offense, I haven't watched your content, but the debate between
I don't watch my content either. That you're okay.
That's smart. Except if you edit it, I guess. If Trench Grenade's content and his goals compared to even Matt or even my goals, like I produce content that I hope reaches 500,000 people, right? I'm not reach millions because I'd have to do some stupid gay stuff for that. But I'm happy reaching 500,000 people potentially with a video. And Matt's happy reaching basically anyone who's interested, but he's not trying. His goals are different than ours. And that's why I like Matt. That's why I like Ben. Ben uses YouTube for fun. Like I texted him a while back and I said, hey, you know, you want to do some YouTube stuff? You know, what's your plan with YouTube? And he was like, oh, that's just for fun. I just screw around. And honestly, I wish more people in the gun industry were like that, where it wasn't a primary focus. Because I'll tell you right now, being someone, I'm probably in a unique position because I'm a big enough YouTuber. I could make it my job, but I'm actually a businessman day to day doing like work stuff and meetings and product design. Like I actually don't make content that much, which is kind of funny. But I actually wish more of the industry was not content focused because the priority of the person changes. It's why, sadly, Garan Thumb's content changed over the last few years because he became so. The requirement for him to produce a weekly video became so great that it was more important than, like, educate, in my opinion, education and the mission he may have had years ago. Whereas Matt, a perfect example, content isn't forcing him to do anything. Matt can live his life according to his mission, do his thing. He's not controlled by gun companies paying him, you know, $1,000 to do an ad. He literally can provide 100, or I'll say 98%, because nothing's 100% genuine, 98% genuine training content with zero strings to anything. And I wish the industry had more of that, even if it's content that only reaches 40,000 people. Like if we had 100 genuine dudes putting out niche, high level, high IQ content to 40,000 people each, that would have more benefit than 3 dudes at the top creating low IQ slop to millions. Now, the argument to this is, and I've heard it, and I think it's a decent argument, but I think we have to examine deeper. The argument of, well, we're getting content in front of 10-year-olds, we're desensitizing them to armor, guns. Like, yeah, I've done my fair share of that. That is one part of the argument, but I don't think that can trump high IQ work being done by people like Matt or like others that doesn't reach the masses. Because I don't think we have to all reach the masses. Like, I'm starting a business YouTube. I'm probably going to have 5,000 views per video. I'm fine with that. I don't care. I don't need to reach. I'd rather reach 100 businessmen on that video and help them than make a video titled my morning my morning routine to make $1 million that reaches 4,000 kids who just want to make $1 million. Like, that's not going to be helpful to society or to those people. So
right. But remember, it's a sliding scale, right? Because we can have the people at the top, we can have the people in the middle, and we can have the people at the bottom, right? Like you need to be careful because, like, so for example, I don't get paid to do fucking squat, right? No one sends me products anymore. I've gotten 3 products this year. So, you know, I can go all in on something like that as you described. But there's no problem in having someone at the very highest level doing very broad content that is very low. I don't know. I don't want to call it low IQ, but is very low informational, right? You can have both, in my opinion. And, you know, I don't want to, you know, go danger close here, but a lot of your Instagram content is you just shooting at a target for fun a lot of the time. Or maybe that was in the past and I'm blurring it all together.
I agree. I don't disagree.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, seeing you rip it the fuck down is fucking cool. And it gets people hyped to be like, hey, I want to do that. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? You can say, I don't want to be Garan Thumb. I don't want to influence that audience. But that audience does need to be that audience does need to be served. So, you know, detaching Garan Thumb from his, you know, the current events, you know, that does need to be served. So I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. Right?
So, okay, I agree about 80% of what you're saying. Let me ask this though.
80% is pretty good. I got through engineering with less than 80%.
If low IQ, let me ask this though. If low IQ slop didn't exist, people would still go looking for content and they would stumble upon something that's a little bit more productive. And this is happening. So TikTok, there's a bunch of social media platforms where this is happening, and there's social studies on people and IQs dropping. Like, this is the thing. As soon as you push the limits for how stupid and retarded something is, the people consuming it do get dumber.
Yeah.
So if the slop didn't exist to begin with, more people would probably watch Matt's content.
You're right. You're right.
And mine.
The slop is always going
my
to
counterpoint is the real world is there will always be someone that enters that slot. There will always be someone that enters that slot.
Prostitutes.
So
yeah.
praying that person is pro 2A or doing certain things. There are Second Amendment or gun related slop that serves no ulterior purpose.
It's such a bullshit fucking argument, man, because you keep going back. We're talking about content and you keep going back to pro 2A.
So it's easier for the
I want to hear
that's your fucking scapegoat, right? You're saying like, hey, yeah, I get it, it's slop or whatever, it's entertainment, but we do it for pro 2A. Okay, well, that to me that's a scapegoat, right? It's like we understand we're all in the gun community, right? We all support, like, you're all, I mean, I assume if you're on, I'm only on Instagram, I'm not on YouTube, but like you're all in some level of shadow banning, right? Because of your support of the Second Amendment, right? On various platforms. But why does it always become, we're all talking, we all support the same thing, right? No one here is anti-gun, but you keep leaning on, I make content for pro 2A.
But that's the thing. That's exactly what we're talking about.
Like,
I want to ask, right? How does serving a very niche community, I'm not saying what you're doing is bad, but how does serving a very niche community that lives and gets paid to shoot guns, how does that grow the Second Amendment? How does that get new people into the space? How does that serve people that are, entering it for the first time and don't really, know left good from bad, left from right? How does serving a hyper niche content, I'm not saying what you do is wrong, but how does that grow the Second Amendment? That's kind of what I'm getting at. There is
because my content is as available as yours is.
Right.
I'm just not doing the buffoonery bullshit.
Right, but the way
so if you find your content like, hey,
work, it's not going to hit that content. And you can argue. My content is very.
Then if you want to feed into the algorithm of the social media, like, that's the thing. Like, I'm not the guy to have a conversation with you.
No, I think you're making some misunderstandings.
For a fucking living, you make content for a living. This is the only place where the fuck we have a conversation. Dude,
Brother,
this is the problem with the fucking internet.
Stream, man. Where do you think you are?
You do make money from training people.
No,
but the point I'm making here is,
I know where the fuck I am, dude. Dude, you're a fucking pain in the ass, man. I know I'm on a live stream.
That's my fucking job, dude. That's what they pay me for.
Be a little fucking cocksucker, irritating fuck. That's your job, dude. I hope we meet sometime. Because, dude,
I'm gonna hug the shit out of you.
You guys are I'm not gonna hug you. You guys are fucking YouTubers, dude.
You're gonna
this
see
is the
me. You're
only
like, that
place.
fucking hug
The
man.
internet is the only place where I take heat rounds from fucking dipshits like you. That's the fucking problem with the fucking internet.
So, Matt, I'll play devil's advocate. Okay, what we're getting at is the Second Amendment. Right. Let's just use it as a broad term. Saying you're pro Second Amendment is not enough, because guys like Johnny Q, who say they were a cop for 2 days and they advertise for the O-Light and they buy a Springfield Prodigy with 0 IQ freaking posts, they're not a Second Amendment person. Right. GBRS and all the stuff we've already discussed tonight. That's not pro 2A. That's pro GBRS quality. So you're not going to like this. You attacking Hop for being an influencer and trying to spread his message is anti-Second Amendment, because you're hurting the overall image.
Hold on.
And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying the whole
fucking disagree.
I
disagree. I disagree 100%, dude. 100%. Like, that's some bullshit fucking faggot ass woke. Like, dude, different ages. That shows a different in ages. You think I fucking am not Second Amendment because I said something bad about him?
That's not what
You're
I'm
a
saying.
fucking pussy, dude. Like that is the weakest fucking argument.
That is not what
ever.
I said. I said
Yes, it is.
you.
No, because I don't like his content. That I'm not.
You don't
pro
have
Second
to
Amendment.
like his content.
Well, what I'm saying then is not pro 2A. That is complete fucking bullshit.
Yeah. So
I
I'm
think
with Matt on
Lucas
this.
was trying to get a point in, and he can't even get his camera working. So
That's
maybe
true.
we should let him.
He's
talk.
living in the dark, and that's a hard thing for anybody. So we
I
should let him talk.
I just don't want you to see me. You know. Here is the lack what is lost in translation is we have 5 YouTubers. I'll consider myself a YouTuber because yes, it's a big part of our business. We bring in a lot of customers, and we're all talking to a guy who does not do this for a living, both in the 5-day-a-week job and in what he's trying to do as a side hustle. Like I've spent quite a bit of time with Matt. Matt drove out and hung out with me for a couple of days. It was lots of fun. We trained, we talked about stuff. Like I know Matt. In fact, I have respect for Matt coming on here because frankly, he could be dry firing and being a better shooter in this amount of time right now. And he would. Because
I think we went way off the reservation in terms of topics, so that's part of it.
But here's I think what is lost in translation for some of you guys, but also the public. When we argue, this dude, only trains LE Mill, he must be anti-civilian, or he's critiquing us trying to do good work for 2A, he must not be 2A. And then you ask Matt, well, what do you do for 2A? Well, here's what Matt does for 2A, and I've thought a lot about this for myself because I feel like I'm sitting on the sidelines doing nothing some days. Matt is in a job and does things that actually deals with bad people like in real life, which none of us are in that position right now.
Yeah,
so
that's why I was trying to get his opinion earlier about like what he wants.
I'm in the same exact boat as him, right? All I'm saying is because I'm still active duty, right? So what I'm saying is you still have to have a personality, and attacking people because of their personality isn't a positive thing. It should be viewed as a negative thing.
Yeah, I'm sorry for interrupting. Please finish.
Hold on. Well, first off, you never attack someone's personality. You attack the idea or the behavior. So let's fix that real quick. You don't attack personality. You attack the behavior. If someone's being goofy, you don't say you're being goofy and you're a dumbass. You go, hey, that thing you are doing is goofy and here is why. So let's correct that. It's not about personality. Yeah, Matt is drier than Brock. Like 100%. Like I agree. Now it's also why I really like hanging out with Matt because I just like hanging out with people.
Yeah,
like
I'm pretty fucking dry apparently. So that's
well, you talk. You're fun to be around. I don't think personality is the issue here.
To say that.
I don't think personality is the issue here. I really think this comes down to, and this is going to be a business thing, because this happens in meetings at work, because we've got 93 employees. We've got a leadership team of 30. Like we're in meetings all the time. People will drop down to 1,000 feet, like flying over the treetops, talking about very specific tactical stuff when they haven't actually determined the 40,000 foot view strategy of like, what are we trying to solve? And I haven't heard, like I hear a lot of talking, which, I think it's good, but I'm not hearing anyone definitively go, the thing we're trying to solve is we want civilians to be more prepared at shooting bad guys when it happens, or we want to help the gun industry evolve so that it can better serve people like Matt and Trench who are active and may actually fight the enemies of our country, because we don't. Like I'm not in a position where I'm going to fight anyone right now. I'm not hearing a 40,000 foot view like what are we solving? What are we trying to fix or discuss so maybe we can fix something? I'm just hearing two different lifestyles arguing about the lifestyle goals. And even I don't have the same goals as Matt or you guys. Like I'm weird. I'm probably a hybrid, collie mix thing, which Matt and I've talked about like quite a bit. Like we in a weird spot. But I'd like to hear the conversation. I think where the conversation needs to go, and this is where you, Focus, need to jump in as the guy running this.
Do your
That's
fucking
like-
job, Focus.
I'm calling you out.
Whose fucking stream is this?
But
Fair.
like what? But what
Trench,
is
this
the
could have been
goal?
you, by the way. Yeah.
But what is the goal? Like, is the goal citizen preparedness? Is the goal create good content? Is the goal raise the IQ of the slop that's available? Is the goal maybe we need more people to join law enforcement and shoot bad guys in the face? And we want to raise standards there because those are the guys who are actually between us and horribly despicable people. Because let's face it, I'm not involved in the daily of protecting citizens in America. I'm not, and most of us aren't. There's a very small group of people who are doing that I think the 2A community throws to the side like way too often, while not realizing that these people like Matt and others are actually the ones that stand between us and some pretty bad people. And I'll call myself out. I used to talk crap about cops and mill dudes without ever thinking about it years ago. And then I had to step back and realize, no, they're the guys who are actually on the job, who are actually dealing with nefarious people. Me as a 2A civilian, maybe someday I will too. But right now, the best I can do is help support or educate, but I'm not in the trenches. Like, I'm not.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was
Let-
getting at the start. It's good contextual stuff for what we're doing, and that's why I kept pushing. Like, I want to hear what Matt says in terms of
All
what
right,
he wants
here, let me-
the community to transfer it to civilians. So yeah, sorry.
So
Go ahead, man.
in my what is like based off, like I said, Focus, not to cut you off, is my goal is to get people to train hard skills.
I'm muting him again.
No, it's fine. To train hard skills, to get good with their tools. Right now, the entry point when I started my company, the easy thing was like we had a lot of discussions about it, like, hey, civilians, military, like law enforcement, we spoke a similar language to law enforcement, and that's what I started training. Right. And then military fed into that. The only reason I don't have a lot of open enrollment classes in civilians is a trick. I have X amount of days in the month that I can travel and train and fly around. It takes a 2-day class, takes 4 days. Day in, 2 days, day out. So to combat that, the idea was we'll put stuff out. I will put stuff out for free as much as we can. Right. And Ben was a huge advocate of that. Like, hey, put it out for free. Try to shape the training community to the ideas that we want people to start talking about. Right. So that is my goal, is honestly to get people training and specifically training hard skills, shooting, shoot your rifle, shoot your pistol, right? Not tactic, not anything else. To me, that is what preparedness looks like. What can you actually do?
But isn't that the message a lot of people are making? Like, how? Yeah,
Not enough.
I agree, dude. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I don't know.
So here's let me drop a bomb. So Matt said something. You guys heard Matt say that he doesn't train civilians, and that typically, from what I've seen online, people get real butthurt about that, and they hear an instructor doesn't train civilians. So here's the bomb I'm going to drop. I don't like training civilians. I've taught open enrollment. I've taught SWAT. I've got one coming up in 2 weeks. I've trained ODAs. I've done a few of those. I've done one-on-ones, which those suck. I hate those. And of all the people I've trained, civilians are some of the hardest. And the reason is not because they're civilians. The reason is they all come from different backgrounds. I'm also a bit of a celebrity, so there's some of that, which sucks if you're an instructor. It is just not a productive experience in most cases to train an open enrollment class of civilians if the goal is to impart high level knowledge to the people. Now, if you want more stories, hang out and do the whole celebrity thing, like, you know, GBRS and all these other dudes, yeah, you can make a lot of money, like a lot of money doing that. But when I've taught classes for ODAs and SWAT teams, they're there to work. It's a completely different mentality. And I know that sounds like super anti-2A of me to say that, but you have to understand like some of the practicals of what is going on in instruction. And there was a big sniper instructor I talked to who verified the same thing. He teaches 2 open enrollment a year because it sucks. And he trains everything else is professional organizations. And the thing that I've been trying to figure out if there's a bridge to be made is how do we make civilians more professional so that people like Matt and like the sniper dude, or even maybe me, want to train that group of civilians? And I haven't figured out how you can have an organization with a unified mission, with like shared like responsibilities and goals, like how you can actually make a team of people that are going to treat training as a professional thing, like their life depends on it. Because frankly, like most of us probably don't do that. We shoot pistol, we're fairly confident, but we're not training like our life depends on it. We don't think we'll get in a shooting tomorrow. But there is a difference in clientele. And I didn't know that years ago because I used to call out people like Matt for only training mill. And then I learned. Then I saw it in person and I was like, ooh, this sucks. I want to fix this. But the reality is civilian classes suck. They just do.
So
So remember, I opened this conversation with, I think the professional perspective is really important. That's what I opened with.
Yes, I remember that.
The first thing I said tonight. I want to hear the professional perspective because it's completely different from the civilian perspective, and it has the crucible of, you know, actually doing this to kind of vet a lot of the information. That's what I opened with tonight, and that's kind of what I keep trying to push for. It's like, what does Matt want to see to make the civilian sphere of things the best that it possibly can?
Are you willing? But let me ask this before Matt goes.
Dude, you don't want to hear it.
I just got to say that.
I do want to hear it. Like,
are you
I know
willing?
me and Hop being in the same room kind of makes things, but like you can watch this back. I'm trying to hear your perspective.
I'm taking control of the stream. I've muted everyone but myself. So I think that what happens a lot of the time is that when civilians hear this sort of commentary about them, they're going to naturally get very turned off by guys like Lucas and Matt when they're like, hey, you're too stupid for us to train you, basically. That's how that comes off, right? And so then you're like, hey, guys, you need to build up an audience of people who are competent enough, like a military shooter would be or something like that, so that you can actually even come to a training class. That is a freaking monumental task to get people up to speed there.
True.
I unmuted you guys.
Respectfully, I didn't.
So I think I'm just going to say this outright. I'll give you my very brief resume. For the past 2 years, I've been a drill sergeant and a drill sergeant leader. That means I trained civilians, and now I train NCOs to train civilians, right? Like we discussed previously. Saying that and I'm going to answer, you know, the issue that Lucas brought up of how do you get these civilians to care more, basically is what he's saying, or actually take it more serious. So saying that military is easier to train than civilians is, I do not take that as factual, because it is all about mindset. If the civilian wants to be there, then they should take it serious. So if the person you're training isn't taking it serious, then that's a problem, right? Because I've trained a ton of trainees, civilians, to become soldiers, right? And it's really easy as long as you do 2 things, right? Value-based. So you establish a value-based system. And I know it's going to sound super cliche. You have to instill the values that you want said trainee to actually embody, okay? So that's step number 1. They have to have a values-based system. Step number 2 is buy-in of the team over themselves, right? So if you are training Joe Blow that wants to protect themselves, they have to have a buy-in of something greater than themselves, right? They can't just be about self-preservation, whatever that is. So whatever their buy-in to whatever greater thing that they're trying to preserve and or whatever,
Wait,
they have to
dude,
have those two things in line first.
dude,
So
you're fucking no talking about the same thing. That's the problem here. You training people to be soldiers from a civilian standpoint as a drill instructor is different than what I train people to do. Right?
are your people carrying a gun? Are your people carrying a gun to protect themselves?
In Army boot camp, which all three of my oldest sons have went through, you shoot for fucking 2 weeks.
Okay. So my question
And
is the goal, is the end goal not the same though?
No, it's fucking completely not. We're talking about competence, actual competence, right? No one that comes out of boot camp can fucking shoot worth a fuck unless they shot before boot camp. That's a fact, right?
Okay, so
I have, dude.
Is this like military stuff
We're not-
again, man? Like
no, this is
you
this
keep
is
referring to like your job as the thing that gives competence and right to speak in the arena, not actual skill, because you keep referencing your job, not
me.
like there were some good civilian shooters, man.
No, I'm saying
I'm muting you.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. I'm talking about
one of my favorite
trenches.
shooters online is a guy named Ben Stoeger, and as far as I know, he doesn't have a pedigree, so to speak.
That's
but I
not the
still
point.
Appreciate what he has to offer, what he brings to the table, the way that he explains shooting. It's not enough just as you referenced earlier 3 hours ago when we started this fucking conversation. It's not enough to be good at shooting. You also have to be able to articulate to other people how to be better at shooting. Ben Stoeger is both. He can shoot well. He can explain why and how he shoots well. And he can do that to anybody. And he can do that regardless of the fact that, as far as I know, Mr. Stoeger has never killed a man. If he has, based. But as far as I know, he has not done that.
What the fuck does that have to do with anything? I'm talking to Trench about training boot camp, and his ideals of training is different from training civilians to become soldiers versus shooting training.
All people are the same fucking people. There's just one kind of person, and it's a human being, and you can train them all the same fucking way. Some people are going to have more aptitude for it than others, sure, but it doesn't ultimately matter that much what a person's background is. If they're receptive to the information, they are, and if they ignore it, they are not. And that can be military or civilian background. Regardless, you're going to have those people who show up to the range and they're like, I'm missing. The fucking sights must be off. And you're like, no, you're pulling your shots. And they're going to be like, that can't be right. Well, those people can't be trained. Kick them out. Don't shoot with them again. They are not your friends. The other people are going to be like, wait, I'm missing. And you're going to be like, yeah, you're pulling the shots. They're going to be like, oh shit. Okay. I didn't realize that. And they're going to work on it. There are people who can be trained, people who cannot be trained. There are people who are invested in getting better and people who don't actually give a shit. And those people are the people who are never going to get better because there's nothing you can do to convince them otherwise.
Sure, and I think there might also just be a sort of a personality conflict, right? So when somebody like Matt and Lucas, they are very, very good at what they do, right? And so they might not, when they say they don't want to train like civilian shooters or whatnot, the average civilian might not be to their. Sorry, go ahead.
No one said they don't want to train civilian shooters, and I don't know what the fuck he's talking about the point I made with Trench. You're not making fucking sense. I'm getting 100 fucking text messages about how fucking stupid you are for people watching this live. You're a fucking idiot, dude. This whole thing is like a massive waste of fucking time. It is, because we're talking about, like, I don't know what we're talking about. Are we talking about training or whatever? Like, even Focus is saying, because people don't want to train civilians. I literally said I run out of time and can't. It's so my goal in training civilians is to put information out for free. Like, so no one has said they don't want to train civilians. Lucas said it's
alrighty. Broadcast to P. I am in control now. Nobody can mute me anymore. It's finally time for me to be an evil human being. Well, that didn't take fucking long.
No, no, you guys
still
are a
there?
fucking absolute waste of time, dude. It
I hope
honestly
so.
is, man. It's
All right. That was
fucking
something.
beautiful. Thank you, Focus Strip, for hosting this. Thank you, Trench, for putting this together. This has been one of the nights of my life.
Trench, I know there is one question in the chat that I wanted to get, but Hop and Lucas, you guys are free to dip out, homies, because I know Lucas, thank you for coming on and trying to steer the ship a little bit. But Hop, I know you have not been having a great time, so you can hop off.
No, I started out not having a good time, but I have been having a very good time.
All right, so
cheers.
Trench,
Cheers. I'm out of beer, and fucking nobody will bring me another beer.
Anyway, so Wiretight had a question. Thank you, Lucas, for coming on. Yeah, that. So I want to apologize to all 1,200 people in the chat. Okay.
Don't apologize. They fucking deserve it.
No.
Every second of this.
Okay. Trench set this up. I had never met Matt, Trench.
I'm having fun.
I locked out. You need a hug. You need a hug. Luke's here to give me a hug. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, so I had never met them before. So
it's going to be okay. It's
I had no idea what this was going to be. But the chat absolutely loved it. You guys were here for the absolute meltdown. You guys were here for it. So I don't know if anything was accomplished whatsoever. And I do feel bad for that because I should have done more moderation and actually kept it on track better. But to be fair, Trench, I'm laying the blame on you. This was your idea.
I thought that we were going to talk about the current trends of the GunTube world. I thought we were going to get some good advice for people watching and some channels.
I thought we were going to talk about fucking Garan Thumb. Apparently, we were talking about the Springfield Prodigy for 2.5 hours.
That's a good topic.
Anyway, no. You got to answer this question, okay? Because I had a lot of people messaging me about this, Trench. So ask Trench Grenade why he called the GWATS vets trash. I had a lot of people very angry at you earlier on, and I don't even know what your take is. So
okay, so they're referring to me attacking GBRS is what I'm assuming, because if you just read the title of one of my GBRS, videos, they're probably saying, "Oh, why are you going after Navy SEALs because they have such a good career?" So I've been better lately about saying, "Hey, thank you for what you've done. Awesome, good job. I'm not taking that away from you. That's awesome. But what have you done for me today?" And i.e., when I say me, I mean the community, the gun community as a whole. So if you're out here telling people that dump pouches are not important or dump pouches are useless, you are the problem, right? And that's why I wish Matt hadn't rage quit, unfortunately. But GBRS is part of the problem. And that's why I go after them so hot and heavy, is because they're saying things that are just objectively not true for most people that carry a gun, whether it be for a living or civilian, because I know we beat that dead horse, right? But if you're a dude that's going to carry a rifle, you might want to have a dump pouch accessible, generally speaking, right? So when GBRS goes out of their way to say, "I hate dump pouches," whatever else they say, I go watch all my videos, okay? Yeah. They hate dump pouches, whatever, right? All the stupid stuff they say, that's not me going after GWAT. Dude, I've been in from 2013 till right now, this very minute that I'm saying this, right? I've lived it, dude, to all these people watching. So I've been in the Army this entire time. I'm not attacking, those would have been my squad leaders when I joined the Army, my team leaders, right? Those would have been my first sergeants, etc., my commanders. So I don't know what the hot take is with that, but if it's about the GBRS thing, I'm trying to say better about saying, "Hey, thanks for what you've done. Thanks for your service, Navy SEAL." But don't tell people not to use a dump pouch, because that's just stupid advice.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no, I don't hate GWAT veterans. I do like Hop's energy tonight, though. That was good. I tried to help you, man. I tried to steer it in a mature direction where it's I think they're asking X, right? I think they're asking whatever, and then I don't know, man. So no hate on Matt. No hate on Matt. I think
fucking Brass Fact was muting me every time I tried to say something funny.
And
he was not letting me talk, and now he's out of the van. He's not inside the van. We are no
I mean,
longer
in
down
his
by the
defense,
river, and now I can do whatever the fuck I want, which is fucking hilarious. So
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
we kind of knew that you were going to be sarcastic and bring some comedic relief to this whole thing, which is good. And I think the message was, hey, it's good to have the hops out here because they're going to bring that their flair, their style, and I think that was what my intention of the video is. Hey, we're all different creators, and we're not on Tinder, so go like our channels, I guess.
I say I'm not a nice person necessarily, but I try to be.
All right, guys. So I have 80 super chats to get to. You guys
can I pee? Can I pee real quick?
Go pee. Although this next one's for you, so we'll go to the next one. Keep going.
I'll be listening.
Okay. Gay Bell for $2 says gun slaps is a cigger, and so is Ben. Yes, we agree. I feel bad for Ben, man. He was muted for half of it and then left like the hour 20. He was only supposed to be on for 60 minutes, and then I was trying to get him on.
Muted per se, his mic just didn't fucking work.
Yeah. We had to leave and come back. So, all right. Wait, Ray's wife is busy with her BF. Says Bomani Igloo for $2. I am not sure. I cannot confirm or deny that. Neve Kanan for $2. Thank you, sir. Says Alpha on deliberate in block walls infantry. I don't even know what that means. It's probably some military term. So
it's probably like a StarCraft 2 reference.
Ira Soap for $2 says, when can we expect the review on the PSA, IPA, PSA? Okay, Hop, if PSA came out with their own IPA, would you drink it?
I'll drink anything once.
Correct.
All right. Lawn Gnome want to know if Trench Grenade is CIB or EIB.
EIB, Expert Infantryman Badge, no CIB.
What's the CIB?
It's a combat infantryman's badge, right? So you get a combat patch if you're in a hostile area for 30 days or more, blah, blah, blah. You get a CIB if you fight the enemy directly. They mortar you shoot somebody in the face, they shoot you in the face, you get a Purple Heart and a CIB. It's a double deal, right? I have no CIB, but I do have my EIB. So EIB.
Gotcha.
All the credentials I need to see from you is the colored lights on the Christmas tree. That's 100% what I'm after.
This is going to be a staple of everything all the fallout that happens after this. This is going to be a staple of the channel now.
It's just Christmas year round. Rackamy Willie 32 for $5. Thank you, sir. Says Trench, discuss your take on how anything cheaper than a BCM lower will get you killed in the streets.
Right. So I basically went after Aero Precision lowers and I went after PSA. They're like Freedom line. Even though PSA is an affiliate of mine, I use them for their bulk ammo and their Saber 20-inch upper is what I recommend. So like, right, someone at face value could be like, but he represents PSA. I do not. I say pretty openly, only get their bulk ammo and there's 20-inch Saber upper because it's pretty cool.
I know there's comments about that. So okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because PSA is a company that makes so many different things. It's hard to be like.
I tell people so this is a side gig. That's one thing I want to talk to X-Ray because he's like, you all are just gun tubers and I'm the trainer here. It's like, no, I work 12 to 16-hour days as a drill sergeant leader. This is a side gig. Hop knows that, I think. We have texted before, like, hey, do you want to do a live? Just send it. I mean, this is all just winging it, right, by myself. But when I recommend or when I go after Arrow or I go after like PSA Freedom or Anderson or anything like that, what I'm saying is, what is your life worth? Your life is worth more than that. Get a little bit more money. Buy the one thing that's a mid-grade, whether it be BCM or I've reviewed the PSA Saber at 3,500 rounds, obviously over, but at the time of the review, 3,500 rounds. And hey, at 3,500 rounds, it didn't break. It was awesome with an ACOG and RMR. Cool. It works for me. I treat my guns like shit. And so yeah, if anyone watching this is like, dude, but my PSA's never had an issue because you've probably never actually trained or, yes, I'm not saying they make bad stuff per se, but I'm saying I wouldn't want to go out and get in a gunfight with a Freedom line PSA.
I think that's relatively reasonable. Quantum Efficiency, thank you, sir. He is very active on the Discord as well. Christmas came early this year, and X-Ray Alpha is Santa Claus. Enthusiast is saying it lightly. Yeah, so I was not familiar with X-Ray or Matt before this, so I didn't know what to expect.
He's a good dude, and he really is a good dude. There might have been something getting lost in translation. We are live, right? Just for everyone watching. Matt's a great guy. Go follow his Instagram stuff. He has all kinds of shooting drills that are actually relevant, unlike GBRS, actually useful. Matt is an awesome instructor. What I think I was trying to help him out with the whole civilian and like the line of thinking and going after the hop thing or whatever is like, dude, you have a sphere of influence. And like, even though you don't care about your sphere of influence, it may or may not potentially hurt the Second Amendment, even though it, I don't think it will, but going after people is like, all right, that's just viewed as,
so am I unaware of something? Hop, has X-Ray gone after you for something? Did I miss something?
Oh, I was talking about in the chat.
Like in the chat. Okay.
I'm
like
not, I'm not trying to start any fake drama.
He's been going after me tonight.
Right. So that's the thing. I didn't know if there was something going into it. Like, what am I unaware of?
I'm not
something
the biggest fan of like tactical training courses, but I definitely wouldn't take one of his.
Yeah, Luke was chatting to me about that.
There's a lot of like words, and I'm worried that there's not a lot of rounds downrange. I don't know. Just seems like a lot of fucking talking.
Well, you said it was all free online, so go watch it. Have a few drinks.
That's good. But only if you're a cop, though. Otherwise, I'd be a little worried what you might take away from it.
That is always a rough position when you start excluding civilians. I think that instantly turns off like 50% of people to your content.
Dude, I was trying to help everybody out. Like, dude, I used to train trainees. Now I train the drill sergeants in the same, like they go through basic again. It's hard to explain, but the drill sergeant candidates become a drill sergeant, whatever. But I used to train civilians off the street, and hey, values and a shared mindset, and you're good, man. Like,
all right, Dab420 for $2 says X-ray, more like X-gay. Thank you for the $2, sir. Elong Musket for 5 says Hop and Brass look like they're coming down from an acid trip infused naughty session. Yes.
Yeah, that's true. We just got back from a range trip in the PNW, so that's basically it. But we met some fucking cool ass dudes there. I'm sure they're LARPing right now, so they're not watching this. But shout out to those guys, fucking cool dudes.
601 Firepower for 199. Thank you, sir. He says, ask Mr. Fudd if he knows Dwight. I don't get the reference, but yeah, the chat was really calling Matt a Fudd. Ballistic Aviation.
I didn't have it up for a reason. I didn't want to see it for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, it was not kind to anyone on here at all, except for Ben. He loved
the
Ben.
Chat was beautiful. Yeah, I mean, like everybody counts to eat. Like every except Focus. I mean, Focus Trip is like it's his channel, so of course, but like everybody else was catching strays.
That's good. Right. That's what we want. Cheers. Yeah.
Well, Ballistic Aviation Luke for $2 says, I miss when we could smoke in restaurants. Yeah, you comment that everywhere. Jonathan Felez for $5 says,
Tupac, hit him up.
Yeah. Gear channels review gear to prevent other people from buying gear that will break during training and practice. It's the simple answer for X-ray. Yeah, I'm not sure. That was a weird disconnect for me as well about the gear content. Like there's good gear content and bad gear content. I get that training should always be the focus above gear because training is going to be the most important thing. But like, yeah, going after, especially like he singled out Brass pretty early on about gear content. So that was that set the tone off.
Mad about something. It was weird.
Well, and I get being mad about, like he said, he's hated Grantham since the beginning. And so I was like, okay, like that. If you want to go at that, but then just to lump everybody into that same
an absurd position because Grantham in the beginning is exactly why we follow Grantham now because
the black screen, right? The black screen,
right? He's in a black background. He's like, hey, I've been wearing chest rigs professionally for 15 years. Let me distill this information down into a soundbite for you, right? That's why we as like gun nerds, gear nerds, we like.
I think most dudes would say they loved him in the first few years, probably.
Right. His new shit, like I understand. He at least he professes to say like, hey, I'm doing this because I want to get new people into guns. Okay, fine. That's not us. We're already into guns. We don't give a shit. Years ago, we were like, I'm in the market for my first fucking chest rig. What do I buy? And you have this video from Grantham. It's 20 minutes long, and it's 10 years worth of experience with chest rigs condensed into 20 minutes. And you're like, well, now I know what chest rig to buy, how to set my chest rig up, how to wear a chest rig, what a chest rig can and cannot do.
Right.
That's the Grantham that I think we all appreciated originally. Right. And the fact that he became some other thing, he started going to a different market. Fine. I get that.
Well,
that's going to happen.
It's not a lead that is content change. We don't need to say that.
Oh, yeah. That's okay. Yeah.
100%. Man Guy
did in fact change.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, it's funny to show them side by side. They look like different people too. The content almost
also
matches
true.
the physicality. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love this super chat. Everyone point and laugh at the angry drunk. That could mean almost anybody, but I'm sure it's pointed at me because I am angry all the time and I am drunk all the time. So
Yeah, I saw this one come in. 601 Firepower says, how about y'all settle this with a duel at dusk? I agree. I think that would be simple. Hugs, yeah. That was a very funny retort every time, just to say you would hug him, because the more mad he got, the less he wanted to hug you.
Man.
I am so hug deprived, dude. So Brassfax does not hug. I'm a hugger. I'm from a hugging family, and Brassfax is not from that. I mean, you know, the Asian thing, right? So they're a little bit more reserved.
Yeah, that was good.
And I'm like, I would love to get some hugs from you, but I can't get them because he's not a hugger. And it's like, I'm
awkward if
dying
Luke
here.
gives you a hug because he's like way too close. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'll hug any. I don't give a shit. I'll hug anybody, man.
The Goop Lover
And
says,
Brassfax won't hug anybody. So like,
so that's the thing. You just gotta play hug tag with Brass. Thank you, Goop. Ohio Gear Guy for 199 says X-Ray or X-Cuck. Yeah, these super chats are not going to be kind to Mr.
Whoa.
Neve Canal says type yes if you want to see X-Ray on Sean Ryan.
It would be
Probably
good.
He'd probably
Be
be good guy.
entertaining.
X-Ray is GM sponsored on Team High Point. Thank you for the $2.
This is spicy. Dude, what is going on?
Willie 32. No, it's there's still 63 of these, so don't worry.
Oh my God.
Dab 420 for $5. Thank you. Sir. Says if this FUD uses anything other than iron sights, he's a hypocrite. No, I don't think he mentioned anything about that specifically.
no, that's not. I think what this person is responding to is the concept that like new information is all slop. The idea that any sort of new information is just marketing. Therefore, we should never listen to it. But you have to ask yourself, would you have ever bought a red dot if nobody ever talked about red dots? You know, like if nobody ever talked about aim point, would you know about aim point?
No, there has to be influence somewhere.
Right. If somebody reviews an aim point, that's your avenue to understand or to discover the aim point and to buy that thing. And then you're like, well, that's it. That's the cutoff. I learned about this. I will no longer be taking in new information. Therefore, everything that happened before this was useful information that I can incorporate into my worldview. Everything after this, oh, that's gun slop. That's marketing. Oh, that's fucking fluff. Oh, I don't give a shit about that. Grow up.
Me. Yeah, but I agree.
Tom has
It's
his chance to speak finally.
It's
yeah,
like
I'm not going to get fucking happier as the night goes on, brother. Come on.
It's normalization, right? Because like in a positive way, the more you can show something off, like different new types of gear, whatnot, red dots on pistols, you know, it just becomes the norm after a while, which is a good thing in this context. All right, Quantum. I know, man. I agree. For $5, says I take it back. It's getting a bit sad now. Focus. What's the next topic? Take over as moderator. I agree.
Yeah, you dropped the ball, man.
I totally did.
I couldn't have done all this. That's why I asked you to do
didn't
it.
know that I was doing this until like 24 hours ago. So this is
I was probably, you know, I made the group chat. I was like, hey, we're going to do a thing. If you guys want to do a thing, I was like, yeah, let's do the thing. And now everyone hates each other. Way to go.
Well, yeah. And I was not familiar with the people. So I guess I should have done more research in the 24 hours.
I do think this was still good. I think it was still positive.
I'm saying, okay,
it was fun.
Look,
That's
irrespective of whatever else happens, you've got Coke Man and Jonathan Picone in your chat right now, and you should be proud of that. That is a fucking hang your hat, retire, because that's it, man. That is the fucking.
Did you watch the intro?
No, because we were late. We were fashionably late.
So
we were out shooting.
I have Jonathan Picone's gear in the intro because he sent me some of this stuff. Yeah. So
not to turn this into some like glazing of other YouTubers, but like if you're looking for somebody to follow, Jonathan Picone, always interesting. And of course Coke Man. But if we've all been following Coke Man for 14 years. I don't know. The first YouTube video I ever watched was Coke Man shooting a fucking Desert Eagle, and he had the ammo on the table, the 50 AE, and the word that he spelled out with the ammo was rape. And I was like, whoa, you can just do that? And
oh, yes. Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, wait, I'm still.
That's amazing. No, you're fine. You can say it. You can say anything you want. Nutstar 1 for 499 says all serious efforts begin as utility and end in fashion. It's a feature and a bug. P.S. Love Muldoons.
I'm on my seat. Nope, I'm in charge now.
So, Brass, I haven't talked to you. How
We'll
did
talk
you
to
think
him.
that went?
He's had his time. It's my time now.
What are your thoughts overall, Brass?
I was thinking about it on the pisser, as men tend to do.
You were pissing that entire time?
No. He pisses in about 4 seconds. He's the fastest peer I've ever met in my life. The rest of it was entirely just him reloading on booze and then thinking.
Good.
It's weird to me entering this thing because I think I opened this conversation with I respect the professional sphere, because at the end of the day, the professional sphere it gives context to what we're trying to do. And I can guess at what we're trying to do, but you know, they have the crucible of what all this stuff actually means, which is I kept trying to make that point, but I think someone had an axe to grind or something. I couldn't really get an active conversation going. So
he was.
It doesn't help that I have this fucking fire starter next to me the whole time.
Well, so Ben,
I was on my best behavior.
That's your best behavior.
This is as good as it gets for me.
To be fair, we needed it because
I was a little sad when Ben and Hop and like I kind of like interfaced and we were about to have a good time and
dude, so I forgot Ben was even in here.
That was a total mistake because he was sauced as well. So he was not in a he was at a bar 20 minutes before we were live. So that was actually not.
Yeah, okay, I'm back on his team. No, he's awesome, dude. I love that guy.
Respectfully, we were pretty sauced as well.
This is why I would hug him IRL, because I feel like we'd actually be besties in real life. And also, Breastfex won't hug me. He's like,
get the fuck away from me.
See, he's attention starved, but he also just won't.
He hugs me in Helldivers, and it's like I don't have a choice. What the fuck was that?
That's just Luke.
Oh, it's
bringing
Luke.
us more beer.
I'm gonna be on this fucking podcast now.
You're
because
here.
You guys are sitting in my fucking driveway.
Apparently,
yes, we got him.
There he is.
A little bit lower.
It's Luke.
Hello, internet.
Hi, Luke.
Welcome to the Luke Casa.
Oh, you're so loud when you're in my ear like that.
Sorry. I'll be a little quieter. I've never met this gentleman, but I love his Christmas tree.
Trench grenade, color like Christmas tree. Right.
Like,
Mr.
subscribe, comment down
my
below.
girlfriend loves your Christmas tree, by the way. So it's
Fuck
10
yeah,
out of
dude.
10 Kino background. Love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, baby. Let's go. Let's fucking go.
I would have loved this kind of energy in the last 2 hours of that podcast because it was an insufferable amount of work to derail that conversation enough to get people to leave.
It's so much work that you got banned from chat.
Oh, I got banned from the chat?
Did you?
Yes.
Dude, I was trying to de-escalate.
You banned
I
Luke.
do have mods. I do have mods, so maybe the mods banned him.
Well,
but I
fire them. Demod them. Don't let these people.
I will.
To be fair, I think about halfway through that.
Luke is pretty.
About halfway through that conversation.
I'm not controversial, but I do like starting shit because I like it when
man's a motherfucking fire starter.
I like it when other men argue with one another about other men's attention. It's the gayest thing on the planet. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Go spend time with your families. Shoot fucking guns. Eat food. Why are you like arguing with one another about stupid bullshit on the internet? Live your fucking life.
At one point, when Matt was going for Hobbs,
we are friends.
Oh, hell yes. Thank you.
We are friends.
Oh, I'm so happy.
You too, Brock. I love you.
Don't touch him. Don't touch him. Don't touch him. He hates it.
I kissed him on the forehead.
He hates that shit.
Ever pull your pants down and run backwards through a cornfield? Yes, but I wasn't straight then, so.
Focus. I'm sorry that you got handled. Did
that experience make you straight?
Say, we really try to take this seriously. I think if you go back and watch the VOD, you will see that like we tried our fucking level best to be like to engage with this on like an actual honest intellectual level.
That wasn't going to happen ever with this. This is why I specifically disagreed to be on this thing in the first place, is because that was never going to happen. It was never going to happen. This is like the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight that is happening right now. It's a grudge match because you all fucking hate one another because you have nothing better to do.
I don't hate anybody. I'm trying to hug every fucking
emotional about something.
Wait, so I'm confused. Who hates? I don't know these guys. So who hates who here? Or is it just because Matt's a fire starter? I muted you, Brass, by the way. You cannot speak right now.
So, yeah, I don't think they hate anyone. I think legitimately X-Ray was super passionate about his, mission, his mission statement that we never actually got, but I think we understood. His mission statement is to produce quality content, even though he has.
I'll tell you what, man. I'll tell you what. A couple hours ago, I thought that guy was bait as hell.
No, let him cook. Let him cook. Let the boy cook.
A couple of hours ago, I was like, hell yeah, Matt Pranka, based. Love that guy. I love what he preaches. No longer. I'm not doing that anymore. That guy might be the worst. I don't know.
I can't
find out.
Lamo for $5.
Yeah, exactly. And that is the question. That is the question we've always been asking this entire time. How would he feel if he had not eaten breakfast? I'm not sure that he himself knows.
Oh man, yeah.
How did you eat breakfast this morning up? This is your fault, Trench Grenade.
Brother.
This is all your fault.
I wasn't expecting him to come out.
Cinnamon raisin with butter.
Hey, Banana Watch.
Don't break my $300.
No. Okay, sorry. Goddamn. I will say this, Banana Watch. I have been to a Pranka class, and Matt actually does use his F-250. He tows his own trailer. So don't say that shit. He actually does tow his own trailer. He uses his truck.
Good to know. Luke, you got a guest room?
You're very drunk.
Okay, I'm gonna keep.
You can sleep in the office, or you can sleep on the couch, or
no, legitimately. I am.
Hell yeah, brother.
I really respect. Fuck. Why am I even trying to justify? Okay, take
you
over.
Respect. Why do you respect? Why respect? Why pay respect to fucking anybody? You know they're only like a couple weeks away from doing some incredibly deranged. You motherfucker! I just poured that. They're just a couple of weeks away from doing some incredibly deranged fucking FetLife bullshit, and then you're gonna have to stop respecting them. You're drinking my fucking shit live as I pour it. This is insane. This cannot go on. This cannot continue.
This stream is getting deleted.
No, it is not.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with this.
Do not send me this entire VOD. I will cut off contact with you.
All right, I'll send it to you. Anyways, Lizana 715 for $10. Thank you, sir. Says
right.
yes.
Yeah,
Buy the thing.
I forgot.
Buy that thing that I haven't.
Says yes. Buy the thing that I have embossed on my shirt. Thank you very much, Lizana 715.
You said we have 80 of these.
We have 60. It keeps going up. I keep going through a couple and it keeps going back up. Man Elite for $10. Goated live stream. Please have the same guests on another time if they are willing. They are not. And I think everybody on this chat.
What are you talking about, man? I'll do whatever. I have no standards.
Tusk the Third says for $4.99. Ripe bananas, aged Vaseline, high temp plastic wrap, small microwave, cheap hotel room. Your thoughts?
Prodigy.
Sounds like you got something on your mind. Jonathan Picone for $5.
Any other guns?
You've mentioned Prodigy a couple times tonight.
Well, I mean, it's an easy brand to pick on.
It's an easy brand to shit on. Understand? Agree.
Krisky's in.
I could say 320.
You need to do that.
I didn't see him earlier.
Jonathan Picone.
Mute him.
Jonathan Picone, Dugan Ashley, and Focus Strip. Yeah. Holy fucking shit, dream team, dude! Do it.
It's already
Focus, mute, hot, please. I can't reach the mute button anymore.
Do you guys think Doug is feeling well enough to do anything other than explosives right now?
I don't care. Anything he's into, I'm into.
Yeah, hot, mute us and finish the stream.
Go, leave the van. Leave the van. I know it's your van, but leave the van.
All right, Jonathan Picone, thank you, sir. Says focus, dude. Please have me, Doug, and Krisky on a live. Come on, my ninja. Yeah, we're doing it. We already talked about it.
Do it.
Banana Watch for $1.99 says Beta X-Ray dreams of sacrificing his soul for Israel. I cannot confirm that.
Illinois. I think you meant Illinois.
Wait, we did this one.
No. The super chat on StreamYards, when it pulls up, it says IL, but that is the tag for the Israeli flag.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't Illinois.
So that's not Illinois.
I'd sacrifice the fuck out of it.
It's typo.
Illinois. Nick for $10 says most gun tube is trash now. It's just about rampant consumerism and very little content about. Oh yeah, we already read this one, Nick. Thank you very much. We appreciate
hours
that.
Ago.
I was saying that derailed
the whole time.
He's on at 7:15 for $2. Says let Lucas on. I sent him a link. He
you
came
delivered.
On. I don't know if he's upset with me now because I didn't do a good job moderating, and he likes Matt. So I don't know how that's going to go. I'll talk to him later.
Well, in fairness, this was unmoderatable.
Look, here's the thing. I love
Shut
Lucas.
the fuck up. Mute the channel and keep reading the comments.
Stop talking over me. It's my time now. You surrendered the seat, so now it's time for Hop. I love Lucas. I don't love Matt Pranka, to be honest.
I mean,
we could not tell.
Lucas shouldn't be upset with anybody.
Well, that's crazy. I thought I hit it so well. I thought I was like masking my fucking disdain for that man.
If that was the message that Matt wanted to deliver, like hiding it and not being transparent is not a good look either. So Lucas being mad at you because you didn't moderate, I can understand not muting when people are talking over people like Hop is right now, but I can understand that. But other than people not talking over each other, I mean, yeah, that's just who people are.
He got 70% of the audio.
Look, man, look, fucking 4 hours ago, I thought Matt Pranka was based as hell. And now? Well,
now
anyway.
You're on the same base because he's going to come hug you or something.
Oh, no, he's not. I'm going to hug the shit out of that motherfucker, and he's not going to enjoy it. But I'm used to that. See? See what I'm fucking talking about? Thank you. Oh, that's so nice.
You do need to mute us. You're never getting through this. You need to mute us.
This is going to be bad. I'm supposed to be in the woods tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock where it is 31 degrees outside. So we'll see how that goes. 601 Firepower for $4.99 says, even though Mike is now to be looked at as a poser of family values, etc., are y'all still going to watch his channel? I stopped watching.
Wait, you guys are watching this channel?
Mute. I haven't found his Twitter account yet, but
no. Yeah.
Ignore
yes,
from now on. He is lying to me.
Todd and Dogs for $5 said, how many soldiers died in war because of crappy gear? In World War I, trench foot? That was a real thing. That's whoo.
Right now, in Ukraine right now, Russians. Next.
True. Mr. Luke for $5 says, Hop and Brass are missing out on dinner.
God, these are ancient. I spent that 2 hours.
Yeah. You know, he's getting around to it.
These are going to get saucy here in a minute.
Literally an hour and a half
ago. Trust me, it's going to be good shit.
Mute it. No,
No more for $10 says, I am curious for both guys in stream and chat what kind of content you want from a gun tuber.
That's what I asked.
He never responded, to be fair.
I tried like 6 times. I thought he said he wanted people who were competent and also like credentials and had pedigree. No.
Well, so Brass,
that's what I heard. We will never leave if you do not mute us. Mute us, Focus.
You remember what he said, though? He was like,
I think Brass wants you to mute him.
He's trying so hard, and he's stronger than me. Oh, my God. He's strong. He's strong today.
All right. Anyways, so to answer No More's question, like, I guess I'm more dry content. Like, I watch Hop, Brass, and other people like that. I don't watch too many cinematic style intros. I like good looking footage. You know, I think that's fun to look at. But I prefer more informational stuff for my own enjoyment. And I actually don't watch much GunTube. So most of it's entertainment slop.
I'm stopping.
Nick for $10 said, why did Trench go on a long rant about PSA being trash, then suggest buying a PSA with BCM bolt when a BCM upper was the same dollars? I added it up myself. He went from PSA equals trash to here's my affiliate link. Thank you for the $10, Nick. Trench, I think you talked about it earlier.
Same build. It's the same build. I bought a PSA upper that's a 20-inch FN barrel, right? Cold Hammer forged. I put a BCM bolt carrier group in it because the one from PSA is trash. Everyone knows that, right? PSA does not make good bolt carrier groups. And then I bought the Saber lower with the A1 buttstock, and it works good. So that's what I reviewed. Like it or love it, I'm not going to review something that I don't stand behind, right? You kind of try to talk.
I think his point to that is, though, it's at that point just buy a BCM upper for $600 and call it.
Okay, right, but that wasn't the point of the video. The point was, does PSA make a good product? That was the point. And
well, so is the answer 50% no, right? Because if the
we found out that my goal was, does PSA make a good product? Yes, if you take out the bad bolt carrier group, right, that they make, and if you put the BCM bolt carrier group in there with a Radian Raptor charging handle, a ACOG, an RMR, Surefire light, and a T-Rex arm sling, good rifle.
Yeah, I mean, if you replace most crappy bolt carriers on the market, suddenly all your problems go away.
Right.
Lizana for $2 says, yes, I believe that is in reference to Lucas joining the stream. Malcolm Sivers for $4.99 says, is this actually Lucas or is someone parodying him? Lucas is actually a parody of Lucas.
Correct.
Goop Lover for $1.99. Goop was going off in the chat. I'd love for Matt to expand on this. Pregnant emoji. Thanks, Goop. We appreciate it. And Nidhogger.
Yes, it starts.
It says,
and then pregnant man emojis.
Not to paraphrase our favorite film of all time, Revenge of the Sith, but this is where the fun begins.
Yeah.
Game
Law
time.
Gnome
Started,
$2 says we need to find the Tommy Wiseau of GunTube. Who is the Tommy Wiseau of GunTube?
Trench? Oh,
shout out to my girlfriend Nighthawk just brought in random Arby's, unsolicited Arby's.
Hell yeah, dude.
Earlier.
She's a keeper.
Correct.
Malcolm Cybers for $5 says gear needs training needs gear, and Matt doesn't give a shit about anything. Y'all could have figured this out 5 beers ago.
Yo, the comments are going to be wild.
I fucking did.
Trip, you have to post this as a video. The comments are going to be hilarious after this.
Well, the live stream will be up with the live chat, so
okay.
that's
I cannot wait.
Okay, Goop Lover again for $4.99. Thank you very much, Goop. Lucas, what are you wearing right now? Pregnant emoji. I'm so drunk, Lucas. Pregnant.
Yeah.
Don't take anything Matt says seriously. It's all a bullshit, but it's also based.
Just Some Space Cowboy for $5 says people gravitate towards tactical knowledge that it's been proven on a 2-way range, and IPSC targets don't shoot.
I think stupid people gravitate towards that.
Well, I don't want to say stupid. I want to say uninitiated or people.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. You're being nice about it. I'm being mean about it.
Yeah, because I mean, people, they watch movies and they're like, "Oh, those are the good guys who know like what they're doing."
Tom Hanks is really good. Tom Hanks is really good with the 1911 while killing a tiger on a bridge. But...
Yeah, amazing.
He's not wrong, ladies and gentlemen.
Sal for $5 says, "GY, I think you mean GT. GT needs that alimony money, so he's got to get views." Well, he's got multiple alimony payments now, and probably multiple.
The point of this whole show was to talk about Garantham, and all we talked about was Matt Pranka's like weird classes or something.
Yeah, classism. It changed to a industrial revolution.
Sure. Man's a classist.
Ludovic for $5. Thank you, sir. Says brass. Let Hop have another beer. Pregnant.
I wish you would have. Yeah, exactly. I wish you would have read that like 3 hours ago when I needed another beer.
I gave him a 30-minute timeout.
Sal for $2 says, "Give Hop a beer." MF.
Thank you. Again, thank you.
No, he needed a timeout.
You guys think I can't be trusted with a beer, but trust me.
Bower and Ben for $2 says, "Nursing home called. They are worried about Alpha. I am sure he'll make it back okay."
Yo, this is awesome.
Guy's in pretty good shape for. I mean, come on.
He's like 104. Ballistic Aviation for $5. That's Luke. "I just want you all to know that I find all of you equally insufferable." Thank you.
I fucking hate all of you, and I hate myself too. So we're all on the same page.
I'm locked outside. A bird died for $2. Says, "Release the Hop." Yeah.
He's released. He's in the wild right now.
You want that, but you don't want that.
Yeah, he's in the wild right now.
Jim Smithers drops 10 on the table and walks away. Doesn't say anything like a Chad. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that. I'm locked outside. A bird died for $2 again. Says, "Get him, Hop. Get him." I'm pretty sure he said
that's what I do.
Stealth for $5. Thank you very much, sir. Says, "Alpha keeps saying he doesn't know anything about YouTube or social media, but he keeps commenting on it like he does, and he's also on a live stream," which was odd to hear him talk about how little he cared about it. Or
I didn't get a chance.
I didn't get it because we're here to talk about this stuff, and he's like, "I don't care about you." It's like, all right.
I don't understand that, because he was like, "This isn't my full-time job." It's like, it's not mine either, but it's still fun to have discourse and talk to people that you want.
It's like, if you didn't want to talk, don't come on here and talk. I thought about kicking him in the first 30 minutes, not gonna lie.
Like, and that, dude, this whole conversation would have been legit, to be honest.
That's what I was thinking too. I shouldn't have asked about him, because I asked Ben, "Is X-Ray coming on?" and then Ben texted him. So I shouldn't have done that. That was my bad, because he was in the group chat. Chips for $1.99 drops his chips and walks away. Thank you, sir. Malcolm Cybers for $4.99 says, "Why do you care about their opinion if they shouldn't care about yours?"
I think
their stuff. Yeah.
Man, your fucking super chatters are like so fucking keyed in, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
to Matt Pranka, I guess, but like, holy shit, these guys are fucking on it.
Sal for $2 says, "I'm not gonna hug you, dude. Put it on a shirt."
He's gonna do it. He is going to do it.
Oh, actually, a gun slaps was in the chat.
Show or wherever. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna hug that man. I am going to show him love in a way that he's never been showed before. I swear to God.
Chips for $1.99 says, "Men are called. They want X-Ray Diddy Alpha back."
Damn.
You can have him. Just Some Space Cowboy for $2 says, "X-Ray voted for Kamala." Confirmed.
Damn. It's going to get wild.
Emails.
Bro.
Melissa gave me for $5. Thank you. Luke says, "You guys are just cock measuring."
Money,
all
dude.
that
Stop
you're
wasting
losing."
money on this bullshit.
I could have said this like we're at my house, so I could have said this
I know,
live.
but exactly, you could have just walked into the van and been like this. You could just
Yeah,
said
but
that
it's funnier when we read it 2 hours
That
later.
would have actually been
I
funny
mean,
if you
I guess, a little bit.
and just screamed it.
Damn.
Awesome Sauce for $4.99 says, "X-Ray, the dude who says he likes, he likes." I just had a stroke.
No
right
like gays while going TY to hit up.
Are you okay?
No.
Okay, focus.
X-Ray, the dude who says he doesn't like gays while doing, okay, honestly, this acronym, yeah, TDY, to hit up out-of-town gay bars.
What's TDY mean?
Good question.
TDY. Googling it live.
Discord.
Total Discord yeeting. Yeah, total.
Yeah,
yeeting.
that's what it means.
We decided.
Okay, perfect. Chips for $1.99 says, "X-Ray wishes he was Lucas or in Lucas."
Whoa.
Banana Watch for $4.99 says, "Please ask X-Ray if he's okay with civilians owning the same weapons that professionals do."
That would have got wild, dude.
It was heading towards that. I did want to ask
That would have got wild. What is that Medal of Honor recipient's name that everyone hates?
Close the door.
The one that said civilians shouldn't own guns or kit.
Are we talking about Tim Kennedy?
No.
Some
Some Medal of Honor recipient said civilians should never train in kit.
Well, now I'm just out hard, huh?
Back in the day.
It's me,
Come here, Brock.
It's me and Luke. It's me and Luke. It's me and Luke.
Okay, the thruple is no more.
Sal for $2 says, "Get Vintage in here right now." Vintage would have been perfect for this.
I saw Vintage in the chat.
He's got one bit, and it's the Donald Trump impression, and like that would have been funny if Donald Trump hadn't won or had not been elected yet.
No, it
But
would have been
after
funny
Trump
to
had
see
been
him,
elected, like,
him and Matt Pranka on a stream together. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, I don't have a way to contact Vintage because I was trying to get him in here, but I don't know how to contact him.
Well, I have him on Instagram, and he's been messaging me. So, Chips 199, X-Rays candidate lost the election.
Damn.
Possible. Ludovic says, "Goop sends his regards." Pregnant emoji, pregnant emoji, pregnant emoji, pregnant emoji, pregnant emoji. Chips for 199 says, "X-Ray only teaches other women."
Oh my, this is getting wild, brother.
We're halfway there. Tusk the third for $4.99 says, "There's a lot, guys. I pooped out a can of Dinty Moore on a North Florida pine tree."
What is happening?
Am I having a stroke? Or am I reading all this correctly?
No, you're right.
Yeah.
That's happening.
No, I was right. I've pooped out a can of Dinty Moore on a North Florida pine tree in June with no wipes. Ever done that? Want to talk about hard?
All right, David Goggins.
Right. The Hoonmeister for $2 says, "Free hop." Yes, sir. We agree.
I was trying to be free the whole fucking time, but Brass Facts was like, every single time I was about to start saying something funny, he hit the mute button. And, if we were on separate calls, that would not have happened, but
You're welcome.
Call. Yeah, you are welcome. You are welcome. It would have been a lot worse without that. But, like, I mean, at the time, I didn't appreciate it, but now in hindsight, I'm like, yeah, he's probably right. He probably should have. He probably should not have let me fucking say shit about.
It's funnier this way. This is the better timeline, I think.
This is way better. All those times where you can just like watch the VOD back and be like, why is Hop talking, but there's no audio?
Yeah.
Well, you can just go ahead and fucking imagine what I was saying.
All right, Ballistic Aviation for $2 says, "Free hop." Thank you very much.
Again. Do you have any money left, dude?
$2 says, "Free hop for hot dog."
That guy is also in the same building, for the record. He's over
we're on the
10,
same
20 feet that way.
Again, and Lucas is like, hot dogs. We were supposed to eat dinner like 3 fucking hours
I made
ago,
you guys
and we're
dinner
fucking
2 hours ago, and
Oh
you're
my
here
God.
jacking off one another on the internet like fucking faggots.
so fucking hungry.
That's very nice of you. We're past the 3 marks. You can actually say whatever you want at this point. They don't even check. Justin the Space Cowboy for $2 says, "You got soft hands, brother."
You're getting weak, brother.
Ballistic Aviation again for $5. Bankrolling this production says, "You are all forsaking your family and friends to argue with one another on the internet for other men's attention." Yeah, sounds very gay to me.
Correct.
Ludovic for $2 says,
Sounds like right about when I left.
Actually, it was. It came in right after I mentioned it.
His hands are so warm.
Nidhogger for $2 says, "Patriots in control," with a variety of pregnant man emojis.
That's a lot.
Tusk the Third says, "Read the super chats."
We are very painfully
fucking based.
DP Chief 216 says, "I'm a glutton for punishment." It sounds like you are, sir. Sounds like you are. Ballistic Aviation for another $2 says, "Okay, coast is clear. Only based people in the chat."
Look, the only reason I've been sending so much money to the super chat is because Trip did a pin and weld for me like a couple months back. And I feel like a criminal not paying him for it. So he does them for free. You guys know that, right?
Well, it's $20. The shipping is $20. So, dude, I just talking about
that's nothing at all. Like, this motherfucker got a fucking pin and weld job done by. Oh, he's gone. He's done. He fucking left. Holy shit! Stream over. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. This has been another edition of Focus Trip Live, where we talked about Garan Thumb for like 2 seconds, and then fucking Matt Pranka for like an hour and a half.
What the fuck happened?
Okay.
Oh, it's fine. Oh, no, he's back.
All right, sorry. Muted. So I actually messed up somebody's pin and weld the other day. I ruined their $170 Huxwork device. Now, it was still usable, but as penance, he asked me to show off this patch he sent me, which is the Sugo Dekai patch. Which,
bro, those Hux, the Hux muzzle device is so overpriced.
I hate them. I hate pin and welding on them.
I have 3 of the Hux devices, and they're so heavy, dude.
Images. Now, if you're not familiar with Sugo Dekai, I don't know. Can I even find an image that you can see? Oh gosh, nope. Anyways, just look it up on your own time. Sugo Dekai is a thing. So it means so big, and it's an anime term. And he wanted me to show that off on stream, so I showed it off to 1,000 people live. There you go. You guys are unmuted, by the way. Jedediah Williams for $4.99 says, "If Alpha was on YouTube, he could fix the problems he sees, but he doesn't want to be here with us."
He left a long time ago.
Well, I just mean on YouTube in general. I don't think he wants to be here.
Yeah, the I don't care about this argument is a weird argument when you're actively doing said things you don't care about.
Yeah. Austin James for $1.99. "Should I use a dump pouch?"
Yeah,
I like using dump pouches if I'm doing like bounding drills with a rifle and you have to swap mags moving from positions, instead of like while running, try and fumble into a plate carrier. Sometimes you just put it in the dump pouch, right? So it's situational. Yeah, it's situational, but I think that it does have a use. So anybody who has these like super hard and fast rules, I think is really dumb.
GBRS.
Jedediah Williams for $4.99 says, "What are your guys' opinion about plain arrow lowers? Are they bad quality? Why would I get a BCM over an arrow lower?" So Trench has obviously had bad experiences with arrow lowers. I don't own an arrow lower, so I really can't talk about them. I have some PSA lowers that have been okay. I have a variety of other cheap lowers that are generally fine. I do notice that nicer lowers are just nicer, but by and large, if you get one, you check it out, you're probably going to be okay. But if you want to be guaranteed to get something good, you're probably going to have to spend a little bit more money.
Bro, just get a BCM. Get a damn BCM.
Yeah.
So true.
So true.
Sorry,
Jedediah
Brass Facts was like thirsty as shit, and we had to figure out how the fucking water works in his fucking hand.
Minuteman Medic for $5 says, "Matt cares so much about pedigree, he'll write off Trench's 12 years of service because it doesn't compare to his own pedigree. Lol. What a clown."
Whoa, hello.
I don't know, man. It just got weird because he kept flip-flopping to saying that your military service does matter to it doesn't, and it's like, no, we all don't think it really does. And then he kept
right. Yeah, but it was pedigree, right? Because he asked us who was a master level shooter or higher. So I think if we were all masters, he would then listen to us.
That was weird because I was like, so I was going to counter that, like, oh, so you need a certain title from a certain organization?
Well,
like,
and so I asked him that. I was like, what level do we need to be at before we can even talk about them? And he really didn't
I said
me-
5 hours, 50 hours. I gave him a scapegoat. Like, what do you want to see from average gun tuber? And he wouldn't answer. I was like, that's when I started getting frustrated, and I joined Hop's team completely. I don't know if you noticed, because I was like,
Hop's team? Base! Fuck Brass Facts. Nobody likes that guy anyway.
Actually, I may have been defending Brass Facts because he was like, he called Brass Facts gay and basically said Brass Facts can't talk about gear, which I thought was hilarious.
Gay?
Yeah,
I had no idea.
I
had no idea.
I
did not know that. Chat, okay, just so you know.
He said something along the lines of those two clowns over there, blah blah blah, and I'm like, well, I mean, personality is a big part of this, dude, and you're kind of losing the battle.
100%. Yeah, no, I agree. All right, go for broke.
2 or 3 hours ago, we were like, should we show up to this? And now we're like, thank fucking God we showed up to this. This was the best fucking thing ever happened.
I wish I shot more 6.8 and got fucking toxicked up.
Oh, was that gassy as heck with their suppressors?
It's pretty gassy. It turns out like the primers or the powder.
Also, the guns just stopped working.
No, that's an ID10T error on your part.
Limp shouldering.
I had fucking, but everyone else had issues.
It's an ID10T error.
What the fuck is an ID10T error?
It's an idiot error.
Don't worry about
Don't tell him.
I already told him.
This is my van.
It's my
go
house,
for
my
broke.
internet.
I can run off my own internet.
It's
Which I pay for.
Then I pay you for.
There's 3 of you.
Well,
Go for broke.
but I feel
2.
I'm sort of
My
like
God.
Therefore, it's
All right. Trench grenade. How's it feeling lacking a CIB? Usually you EIB guys got them from glazing the fuck out, not lane NCOICSs. Our MOS or award don't mean shit.
This strikes me like an E4 that got out, and the only thing they ever got was a CIB. So they're really leaning on their CIB. Guys, don't live in the past, okay? I'm cool with not having my CIB, but I'm trying to figure out where you buy the wreath. Is it at the PX? Is it $8 at the PX? But yeah, I think that having a CIB is really base, but also basing your entire personality on getting shot at in Afghanistan from 500 meters away and doing nothing with the rest of your life other than tell people you have your CIB is also very cringe. So, hey, but thanks for your cervix, dude.
Your cervix. Dreadnought for $4.99 says Matt was in a SMU. I don't know what SMU is for 10 plus years.
Special mission unit.
Belt.
Okay.
Somebody makes a belt called the SMU. It's a belt.
Nice. At the highest levels and a USPSA Grand Master. No fluff attitude, semantical arguments. He's straight training.
Well, here's the thing.
I wish you could have relayed that in a more useful manner to us.
Yeah, dude. So like the CIB guy, the E4 that just got in chat that said his CIB is really important. Okay. It's a participation award. I'll just expand on that even more. Okay. But if you're a SMU retiree, you're a Delta guy, just saying that is okay. Awesome. You've earned our respect. Guess what? You lose it if you start acting like an asshole and bullying Hop 5 seconds later just to bully Hop. We're all trying to bully Hop. Let us have our opportunity.
100%. Lawn Gnome for $2 says Hops is the ARMS SIR ever on the menu?
No.
It looks cool. Should get one.
Why do I care?
Well, because you like odd stuff. That's kind of odd, kind of niche. It's cool.
Right, but nobody on the menu. There's a lot of implication there. Anytime that a person is asking that, they're basically saying like, "Hey, is it okay if my fucking go-to-war fighting rifle has some weird cringe retro GWAT bullshit on it?" And my answer is always going to be no. But if you're just like, "Hey, I think this gun is cool," well, of course, go with God, my friend. But that's not what you're asking. What you're asking is like, "Hey, is it all right if like the only gun that I own is some fucking like retro tier bullshit that like would have barely passed muster in 2003?" Well, the answer is no, it's not. You can't be fucking doing this shit because the year is not 2003. The year is a slightly different year than that. So fucking make a normal gun. Or if you just want to have some fucking retro shit, again, go for it. That's cool. But that's not what you're asking. Shut up, man.
Uchilla Tom for $9.99 says, if you're an instructor and a civ came in to drain and did not level at an acceptable level, you failed them as a teacher. Good teachers kick a class clown out. No excuses for not teaching avid learners.
That's where I think Lucas really dropped the ball tonight, in my opinion, saying that civilians are harder to train because of mentality and the reason they're there. I think that's a cop out as an instructor. If you can't train somebody, that's you as an instructor. If they're if they're of sane mind and they want to be there to receive information, right? So if a person is a paying customer or there to learn and you can't instruct them, well, you have to evaluate the overall situation. You as an instructor, and is the person deliberately not receiving information because of an instructor competency or what? So
it's Paul.
Austin James says Matt thought Hop and Brass were Johnny Q/GT. Apparently, he really did not like them from the get-go. So
it got weird.
Yeah.
Look, man, there's a lot of people that like don't know who we are, and they're going to assume our positions, and then they're going to expound upon our positions, even though they don't know what they are. And that's fine. That's going to happen. You see that on fucking 4chan or whatever, Reddit. People are like, "Oh, I don't like Brass Fact because he said XYZ," and you're like, "Well, he said the opposite of that." They don't know. They don't care. It doesn't matter. Just let them.
It all comes down to what is your time worth. You know what I mean? Like what is Brass Facts or Hopifile or Trench Grenade's time worth? And if the time investment in that person isn't worth it, then you got to let them go.
Lieutenant Spaz for $5. Thank you, sir. Says, I'm going to kill him. All right. Sean Brown for $5 says, I watch all four of you. You guys are great. Keep this live up, and I'd totally give Hop a hug so I could steal his drink too.
Base.
Dude, with Hop
I need hugs, man. I'm deprived.
I'm not providing them.
These fucking people won't talk to except Luke because Luke is my brother.
Hop was the hero of the stream that we all needed.
Shut up, man. These people will not give me the physical attention that I need. It's fucked up.
Uchilla Tom for $1.99 says Lucas Buttkiss can stay mad, won't train civs. Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be hard to win over the people when you're like, no, you're actually too dumb for me to train you. It's a little rough. Anyways, primary and secondary.
Hey, Matt. What's up, Matt? Brother Matt.
You watching this, sir, for $5 says loud noises. Yes.
That's the Matt we like. It's our favorite Matt.
I like Matt. Jedediah Williams for $1.99 says thoughts on Dirty Civilian channel. I don't watch it. I know that they did put out a really good EMP video, though. It was like the only one.
No, they did not. No, because you know whose video they took to make that video?
That's right. They stole it. They stole the video.
Where you at? Where you at, buddy? Come here.
I don't know. Dirty Civilian seems
so there's a Dirty Civilian EMP video.
No, mute us again. Mute us again. Please mute us. I got it.
Dirty Civilian seems to be a good overall positive channel. I do think they go a little bit heavy in some of the cringe though. So, but if you're into cringe plus cringe plus overall, I'll say overarching good content, then fine, yeah.
Okay. Night Fighter for $1.99 says nothing. Drops it on the table, walks away. Thank you, sir. Luke Singer for $4.99 says, who in this call yearns for the mines? I think we all do.
Yo, I gotta say one thing real quick because he's in chat. Lemon Grenade, text me back, asshole. Lemon Grenade is in chat. He needs to either turn his comments on or text me back because we need to do a thing. All right, sorry.
Well, I have his note. He talks to me, so.
Well, he used to talk to me until he deleted his damn Instagram channel.
Oh, yeah, that happens. Night Fighter for $4.99 says, if I was Matt, I would have said, hey, bro, how about you hop on these nuts? Nice one. Good one, sir. Sop Mod Supremacy for $5 says, how many more drinks till Hop stops singing Silverstein?
He does that when he's sober.
Oh, so he's actually drinking for it. Paulus Cal.
Go ahead and give bad advice to people who don't need it.
Mute us again.
Paulus Cal for $5 says, Hop, let me see your unicorn, darling. I really want to. Oh, yeah, I gotta say it in the voice, right?
Garan thumb quote. Here we go.
How does he even say that? He's like,
let me see your ass. I really want to see your ass or something.
I want to see it.
And we finally got to the point of the video.
Right. 3 hours, 18 minutes in. Friend for $5 says, Hopathan, you missed your chance to accidentally call someone a hipster bundle of sticks.
No
Yes.
accident.
Well, look, okay, here's the thing, man. Pranka breached that. Like he fucking, he played the hearts in hearts, right? Like he basically started saying faggot before any of us started saying faggot. So if he's gonna say it,
yep,
I'll reference him when I say it at that point.
Mark
Luke cannot be part of this shit. But like, I mean, he kept saying the F slur. And
You're all faggots. Good night.
Whoa!
Good night, Lou.
Whoa!
Wow,
Uncalled
my
for.
audience, unbelievable.
Well, I'm back in control.
Mark Moose for $2 says Matt was trying to tell us to get better. He was.
He's so strong. He's so strong, you guys. Why is he so strong?
Mute us, please. Mute us.
He was trying to tell us to get better, but he could have done it in a better way. So I would tell him to get better at telling us to get better. Contemplation for $10 says, my takeaway was that I shouldn't buy anything, shouldn't train, and if me and my gun nerd Pog Nasty girls ever end up in a Jess Lynch situation, we don't have 20 years in a plate carrier, so just give up. That's right, sir. You are not good enough to get training, and we're not good enough to talk about gear. Therefore,
not a great look.
I guess I'll die or something.
Yeah, I'll just sit here and die, I guess.
Okay.
All right, so Jess Howells for $2 says, Matt Pranka, a little cranky. It's coming soon. Ah, damn it. They hid themselves. It's coming soon. Pregnant emoji. That's right. Sorry. Sal for $2 says, my bendy boy cack, they bend. Hop/Matt boxing match? ? That would actually be fun.
That would be fun. That'd be better than the Mike Tyson thing.
Hop, I need to know, what is your opinion on fighting Matt Pranka?
I don't fight people because I'm a good person.
He hugs them.
So in a hugging match, who would win?
Me, because I'm the best at hugging. What the fuck are you talking about?
Fair enough. Chromosome Hoarder 69 says, shut up, Nimba. No, it's been fluctuating. It's kind of awful. Alex Gustistani says, stop nimming. All right, nimmed up. Really. Chromosome Hoarder 69 for $1.99 says, thank you, says, I hate nimmers. All right. Nidhogger says, shut up, Nimda for $2. Thank you, sir.
I'm questioning my sanity.
Nimda is somebody in the chat who likes anime, I think. So everybody's calling him. DP Chief 216 says, what's y'all's thoughts on using airsoft for training / testing gear out? I played airsoft when I was like 13 and 14, but never seriously. So I actually don't know. You guys
I missed it.
Using airsoft for serious training.
Oh yeah, for maneuver, for FTX, yeah, not for the actual gun. Like go to someplace like Milsom West or someplace where you can learn how to receive an op order, do an actual mission, etc., and just understand that the airsoft is just the medium that's going to be a little shitty, but you're going to actually learn how to receive a mission and actually conduct maneuvers and hate your life being an infantryman for fake for a few hours or a few days. So it's good training. It's good training if you used it as a good medium for training, just like anything else.
Understood. Lucas D for $2 says, that's it, banning Nimda again. Nimda is getting it tonight.
Fucking send it, bro.
Yeah. Barrel of Mercy for $2 says,
kill the woman. Don't let him exist.
Appreciation. Friend for $10, thank you very much, sir, says, Nimda, we have to talk about that woman. You can't avoid it forever. Pregnant emoji.
That's the woman he shot. He shot that woman. It happened, bro.
Jeez. I need to mod Nimda. Nimda's
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Actually, Risky's still in the
chat.
chat.
Cross the bear. We got this deep lore. That's on my server. It's not on yours. You don't have to worry about that.
Okay. But anyways, Risky is now a mod, so you're all in danger.
Nice.
Chromosome Hoarder 69 for $2.99. How dare you? Chromosome Hoarder 69 for $4.99 says, who would win in a tickle fight, Nova Group or T-Rex Arms? Well,
I'm extremely ticklish, unfortunately.
I was going to say, Brass has an aversion to being touched, so I think Brass would
doesn't like being touched, but I don't think he's ticklish.
Well, right, so I think he'd be good is what I'm saying. So,
but I'm extremely ticklish. That's the problem.
Didymus 1999 for $5 says, X-ray definitely slams. Didymus for 1999 says X-Ray definitely slammed his penis in the car door and was self-medicating.
It's a theory. Yeah, it's a theory.
That's the working theory at the moment. That's what they say. Chromosome Hoarder 69 says Nat Rupert report stat. Barrel of Mercy.
I know what that means. I'm sure none of you do, but I know what that means, and based.
I don't, so I'm don't explain it. Barrel of Mercy, sir, for $18. Thank you very much. That's very generous. Says the only way Focus Trip will top this if he gets both Harambe and Flannel Thumb on the same stream. So somehow Garantham has not blocked me, but he did stop responding to my messages for some reason.
Well, good for him. Harambe Thumb is mentally ill. We can agree, right?
No. He is he's dead at the moment. He's at the bottom of a river, I believe.
Well, his channel, his account is deceased, but like the man himself is like surely like a a problem case, right?
Yeah. Well, he's
there's no way you develop. There's no way you devote this much of your life to like building a case against the human being, unless if he's a vengeful spirit and Garantham literally killed him and he's like haunting this mortal plane because some shit happened. Like, sure, if you're a human being and you're going to these lengths, you are like crazy, right? Can we agree?
I think it's a lot for sure. Tap Rack Stovepipe for $1.99 says, anyone want to test a CMMG 6-arc upper? No one wants it. Well, that's because it's a CMMG 6-arc.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Dude, I've gone down the CMMG Banshee path. Do not go there. Trust me, you'll end up where I ended up with a fixed gun after a year.
6-arc is kind of like 6.5 Grendel if it fucking sucked.
No, I love 6-arc the caliber. I think it's good. I don't know if I would choose it over 6.5 Grendel, but yeah. Nimda for $2 says, you guys are mean. Well, you're Nimda, so you probably deserve it.
Thank you. Thanks. Fucking somebody finally says it. Holy shit.
Coyote Brownish for $4 says, Hop. Oh my gosh, I'm dead at this point. Hop has fought Skynet his whole life. His takes on combat and gear are the most relevant for the modern era. A wise man once said.
My take is that it doesn't matter because you live in the United States.
Ooh. Sal for $2 says, Hop looks like Sigourney Weaver, especially in shades. Yeah, that's another lookalike. Sigourney Weaver's not too far off.
My underwear is like that, like scant.
Right.
Let him get through the chat.
Speaking of aliens alien in my mind, I'm like, anyways, Jedediah Williams for $4.99 says, I am always laughing at dirty civilians cringe, but I do like their contentment overall. It seems like they really try to get good content out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they have a good goal, to be honest.
It's all on the spectrum of, accessibility versus info.
Right. I mean, we're all on the spectrum, but
just a little bit.
Brother.
I am Florida man.
I'm all in, baby.
I am Florida man for $5 says, does Matt have an operator syndrome? 2, is anyone surprised at Lucas's attitude?
That was a snake that posted that one, Lucas.
Yeah. No, it's Florida man. Florida man with a meth lift.
Parcel tongue, motherfucker.
Well, he lost a lot of his teeth due to the meth in Florida. So
true.
Sal for $5, thank you very much, sir, says, does the revenue from these super chats go towards Hop's male to female surgery law? Yes, that is exactly
the other way around.
22% goes directly to it.
I hope they find a cure.
You just gotta decide which direction I'm going.
Yeah, no one has figured that out. Is it FTM or MTF, right? No one knows yet.
Victor for $2. Will Nova Group and Leviathan merge? Ooh,
by merge, if Nova eats Leviathan, then yes, and then consumes her as calorie. Yeah.
Chromosome Hoarder 69 says, risky, please join Hopcord. #straight chat.
Do not come.
Not come.
I'm gonna come. All right. Last one of the night. Shut up, Ligmida.
That's a great way